The latest in gaming news is all about Xbox and their future hardware endeavors. And as far as I can tell, this is an exit strategy, but not in the way that you might think. You might mean, well, how's it an exit strategy if they're committing to do hardware and they're announcing handhelds and they're announcing partnerships? Well, it seems to me that if you go through a bit of a history lesson and you actually examine things that Sarah Bond has said, as well as AMD, they are signaling that Xbox will no longer be building their own traditional consoles or their own traditional hardware. They will be using other companies to do it. And the Xbox operating system will soon basically be replaced by Windows. This is something that many of us anticipated. They're essentially trying to get out of the hardware business. They want to get into the ecosystem business, the software business. That's what Microsoft has always been good at. That's really why they're the king. Now, I'm not talking about Xbox here. I'm talking about Microsoft. We even speculated in the past that Microsoft was essentially killing the idea of Xbox, because calling everything an Xbox and essentially working with other manufacturers to build things for you is very different than what a lot of people expected from them in the future. So sit back, enjoy a little brief history lesson and some analysis of things that have been said recently. And if you liked it and you want to be here for the live discussion that followed this, be sure to hit subscribe and the bell button. If you're watching in the live audience right now, do me a quick favor, go crazy on the like button. And we have a huge goal for the week. So if you want to support directly, click join, pick member plus. If you're watching on purple, use your primes, use your subs, so that way you don't ever have to see ads. So let's just walk through this, all right? So if you've been paying attention to Xbox for a while, a history lesson, and some of the recent quotes from Sarah Bond and AMD, you might wonder what they're going to be doing with hardware in the future, because it's quite a bit different than what a lot of people imagine. Some are claiming that this is the future and this is where things are going, while others remain skeptical. A history lesson, I think, is important. You have to remember that Phil Spencer notoriously said that they cannot out-console Sony. They're not in the business of doing that. And they seemingly shifted to the publishing strategy. And because they shifted to the publishing strategy, this essentially put them in a position to make more money from software and shift away from their focus on their own box. They were essentially saying, you know, we are now going to be putting our games everywhere. Satya Nadella said this, the CFO said this, that they would be starting to put their games in other places. And because of this, it seemed that there was going to be, a concerted effort for them to no longer have exclusives. And that, I think, has been upsetting for many of the Xbox loyal. But they also continued to make assurances about their own hardware. Phil would say things like, boxes in the name. We'll always have a console. There was heavy hints from him about wanting to have a handheld. Well, recently, they canceled their own handheld, according to sources, and they're opting to have Asus do one for them instead, the Asus ROG Ally X. And on the heels of that, Sarah Bond did the video that you can sort of see in the background here. And I believe this was a huge clue in this video that many picked up on. She said the following, that they were working closely with the Windows team to ensure that Windows is the #1 platform for gaming. Now, in this video, the focus is on future devices having backwards compatibility. This is something that we heard from Jez Corden. We're hearing from other sources that essentially everything is going to be able to play all of your games from back to the Xbox era, the first one, to 360 to now. Everything will be available. It will not be running in the way that you might expect. People are speculating it's going to run native and no longer be, an emulator that has to open. It'll be something that actually uses the hardware itself. So you combine this video with Sarah Bond with the latest AMD info. AMD says they're partnering with Xbox, but they're going to, quote, go beyond building custom chips for Xbox consoles to create chips that combine the power of Ryzen and Radeon for consoles, handhelds, PCs, and the cloud. Now, here's the deal. This makes it clear that AMD is no longer going to be doing custom chips for Xbox. This is a larger effort from them, and Xbox seemingly is happy to work with them because they're going to be able to leverage this technology to do the backwards compatibility. As I was listening to all this, all along this journey, I kept saying, why the focus on backwards compatibility? If they're going to have others making the hardware for them, if you're typically, buying a console, many people were concerned going into Switch 2. Well, are my games still going to work? That was a big concern. Why? Because you're going from Switch 1 to Switch 2. Going from the Xbox One to the Xbox Series consoles, that was a concern. So from where I sit, they're shifting away from doing their own traditional hardware. They're getting into the business of saying, well, everything's an Xbox, your TV, your tablet. We've got Asus making a handheld. This partnership with AMD seems to be signaling that they're going to have other people making the hardware for them. Now, none of this is bad, but it certainly begs the question, well, why would you be so concerned about backwards compatibility? And then it hit me in a discussion with my members in the green room. They want you to be able to buy devices made by others with this AMD hardware in it so you can access your whole library. They're stressing backwards compatibility in this partnership because it's a significant means of them no longer building their own hardware. Any of the hardware leveraging this technology will be able to play all your games, which is a great value to the consumer. Even if you play on the cloud, I'm assuming the cloud infrastructure will also get this technology. So you could play on your TV, your tablet, your phone, whatever, and if you're having access to xCloud, you should, according to what they're saying and according to the theory that I'm outlining here, you should have access to your entire library. That's a great value for people who have really big, long-standing libraries with Xbox. So this is why I call this an exit strategy. This is how Xbox gets out of the hardware business. They're going to let other people shoulder that cost, whether it's the pipelines, the raw materials, whether it's the production lines and then the shipping. Like, that's all going to be done in partnerships like they're doing with the Asus ROG Ally. I actually think their future console, the reason we kept hearing it was going to be a PC hybrid is because of this announcement with AMD. They were planning something that could hit the market that is basically a PC. That's why Sarah Bond says, well, we want Windows to be the #1 gaming platform. It's about centralizing everything around that. And the traditional Xbox console and that Xbox interface will likely still live on in a very different way. That Xbox interface will probably be, whenever you interact with xCloud or one of these rigs, it's probably going to emulate that and make it feel like home to you if you've been on Xbox for a while. And it'll feel like Xbox to anybody who is going back and saying, hey, I want to access all my old stuff. So this, to me, is how we've always thought, how are they going to get out of hardware if you've got millions of people with these libraries they're going to want to bring with them? Phil Spencer also said, sort of famously, in the interview where he said they can't out-console Sony, they're not in the business of out-consoling Sony, he said that digital library continuity is incredibly important. It seemingly is priority one for Xbox going forward, but it also seems that hardware is a different priority for them now. It's one where they don't shoulder the cost, they don't shoulder the R&D, they're going to have others do it for them. Now, this isn't good or bad. This is really up to the consumer. The value proposition of this could be enormous for you if you've got an enormous library with Xbox. If this future console is essentially a console PC hybrid, you plug it in your living room and it's essentially everything you've ever had with Xbox. But I don't necessarily think this is a compelling value proposition against the future PlayStation 6, which is what many people have been saying. Well, the PlayStation 6 is dead because if I can get essentially a PC that can play all my games, why would I ever get a PlayStation? Well, for the most part, you can do that right now. Now, obviously, the library continuity is not there. The backwards compatibility is not there. That's the missing piece. But let's just take that piece, set it to the side, and consider something. Right now, you can get a PC. I've got one that I'll be setting up today. I can turn on Steam. I'm going to be playing Rematch through the Xbox app, through Game Pass on my PC. I'll be doing that this afternoon. I can do all those things. I can play PlayStation ports on my PC, and my new one's probably going to run them pretty well. You can do that right now. That hasn't put a dent in PlayStation's demand. PlayStation 5 is matching with PS4, and internally they're impressed that they were able to do that without the mid-gen price drop. I don't see this as a threat to other consoles in the market. Not the Switch, certainly not Switch 2, not the PlayStation 5 or the future PlayStation 6. This seems like another option for enthusiast gamers, especially long-standing Xbox gamers, to have all their games in one place. If historically you have been enjoying your PlayStation, and you've been with PlayStation for a very long time, backwards compatibility is not a linchpin because you don't have anything to, pull from. You don't have this library to bring you back to Xbox. Now, there could be some fans that decided, hey, I'm going over to PlayStation, and this could win them back because it's a pretty significant thing to say, hey, we're working with AMD to have technology to where any game you've ever had is available. I also like some of the things they've said about using AI for game preservation, because there's some classic games, there's some old games that are just simply sort of lost to time. I'm thinking of some of the Coleco games I grew up playing with my dad. So this move by Xbox, it is an exit strategy, but it might just be the beginning of a new era for them where they're everywhere, which is what they want to be. But I'm just kind of curious if the fans will feel that they're everywhere or if they've fundamentally gone nowhere. That's pretty much my thoughts on the matter. I'm excited to discuss this one with you guys because it's pretty nuanced. This is not a good or a bad thing. This could land on a lot of people, and it could be a huge win for the Xbox loyal. But for those who haven't been on Xbox for a really long time, I feel like this is a non-starter. So, anxious to see what you guys have to say. Do you agree with my take? Is this move for backwards compatibility and this AMD partnership to get them away from having to make their own hardware? Is this so they can then partner with other companies to make hardware, so then they're essentially exiting the hardware space and just leveraging partnerships instead? So, guys, go through the ritual, smash the like button. We're 10 minutes in. Let's have a huge day. It is Friday, and we've got a lot to do and a lot to discuss. I've already got some people to thank, and Raven renews for 41 months, and it's a member light, and then Han shot first, and so did you. Thank you so much, Joker Quinn, one of the gifted member champs over here. It's going to take it to 57 months, then it's going to go to 58. Thank you so much. We're getting a renewal from Rockin' Hard Dude over here on the Purple platform. And a little contest between the platforms is going. It will bring them into parity with PlayStation, but doesn't give PlayStation users a reason to switch. Yeah, I really don't see how this is a threat to the future PlayStation 6. I don't get why people are arguing that. It's a PC. We can tell it's going to be a PC from Sarah Bond's commentary. AMD is getting thrown into the conversation and making it clear they're no longer going to be doing like a custom CPU for Xbox. They're doing this suite of technology that's going to be showing up in all these different places. And it's like, okay, so you're building that so then Xbox can then partner with people to make hardware that then will run everything. I don't see this as a threat to PlayStation. I see this as additive to the market as an option, especially for the long-standing Xbox users. But the real issue here, too, is that they've fostered an entire community this entire gen that isn't buying games, that doesn't have a library. So how meaningful is backwards compatibility to somebody who has not been building a library? And yeah, it's probably going to be expensive, what Eugene's saying. Thank you, Angry Pete, for 45 months. The evidence supports your take, I'd say, but you're also correct. There's no reason for PlayStation people to switch. Right, I see this as, and that's why I thought it was weird, and thank you for the VIP, I'm adding it to the total. That's why I thought it was weird that people were saying, oh, this is this threat to the PlayStation 6. I'm like, this is a huge ad for Xbox, guys, but I don't think this is a big thing for folks outside of Xbox right now to suddenly jump over. Nova with 34 months. Where's my Twitch? Big boys, let's win one. Nova wants to win the day. 4 months for Mike on a mic. Yo, the only place I'll spend my prime. I appreciate that so much. And that puts us at 61. And it's off to a pretty tight race right now between purple and red. PWH Town with a $5 super chat tip says, I don't see how this makes Microsoft money if playing games from other storefronts is the sell. How does me buying this and using Steam, not Game Pass, help Xbox? This doesn't seem focused too big on Steam. I mean, the theory is that you'll be able to play Steam games, so I get that's why you're asking that. Soul Train gifted a member over there on Purple, and it went to Sidious. Thank you so much. And that's going to give you guys 7. But here comes the winner. Bareth Chosen drops a 5-bomb on YouTube, and that's going to take us to 677. But then that's going to take the contest to 8-7. So YouTube's already edged you guys out. You're going to have to answer back. Thank you so much. Team Purple, Team Red facing off once again. Gavin with a 23-month renewal on Team Red says, I was planning to buy an Xbox for Outer Worlds 2. They almost had me, and then decided to save myself 600 euro as soon as they had the games I wanted. Doubt I'm alone. Hang on, I don't understand what you're saying. So they almost had you. You almost bought an Xbox, but then they decided to save myself 600 euro as soon as they had games I wanted. Doubt I'm alone. You're gonna have to elaborate, Gavin. I'm not capturing what you said. Now, 5-bomb comes in from Cardoc Ren and says, Purple's going to take the lead one more time. Thank you so much. And that pushes us to 772. We are 3 away from the next milestone where I owe you guys 5. Appreciate you guys so much. Continue to support what we do here. If you're watching on YouTube, man, make sure and smash that like button. I think he's saying he's playing Xbox games. A VIP from AOZ, 35 months. What do you think will happen to PC Game Pass and the higher price Game Pass once the lines are blurred with a hybrid console? This is an excellent question. Thank you, AOZ. Yeah, I would imagine that they're going to leave PC Game Pass alone for as long as they can. I think that's still where they see the greatest opportunities for growth. Phil Spencer has said that about the Asian market in particular. The PC market is huge there, and they see that as their biggest opportunity to grow Game Pass. I think that's why PC Game Pass price has not gone up nearly as much. They're going to hold out as long as they can. But yeah, once you get units in the market that are like, you know, you got like PC handhelds, you got handhelds. I don't know if you call them PC or console. That doesn't really matter to me how you classify those. But if you're unifying things around Windows, then what's the classification for why would Game Pass on PC be $12 and get day and date, and then you got to buy Ultimate for $20 on console when they're basically, if you unify that operating system, if you unify the ecosystem, a lot of what Sarah Bond said about, like, you know, we're basically making everything united. Well, then what's the distinction then between PC Game Pass and Ultimate at that point? I don't know. I don't know what they would do. One benefit I haven't seen thrown around a lot is that getting these partners to make consoles for Xbox is that we'll see a new piece of hardware on the regular with different prices and performance. Well, Jimmy, here's the thing. That can be good, but that can also be problematic. Because if you're building games as a third-party developer, do you really want to interact with all these different SKUs over and over and over again? Like, that can complicate development. I don't know. That at some level could make closed ecosystem of the PlayStation more appealing to a developer. Same with Nintendo Switch 2. You know what you're building for. If you got new pieces of hardware coming out every other day, you got handhelds, you got consoles, you got PCs, you got PC hybrids, you got mini PCs, all the different SKUs. You're removing those benefits, as Zubair is saying, the benefits of a console for development, and saying it's just PC development. Yeah, but you're not talking about PC development. You're talking about set pieces. Like, it would be a set piece of hardware where, like, this is the stuff that's in it. Does that make sense? Siriu for 3 months. Thank you so much over there on Purple. And then Stone, stop there, Stone. That you don't need to do any more. It's been set up. Siriu bumped it to 75 with you. So actually, Stone Spire, you hit it. Siriu bumped it, and then you clinched it, and then you just did the Agents of Chaos to 76. That's the order that it went in. Siriu's hit first. I didn't shout it out when I should have. And Dark City with a $2 super chat. I think Microsoft is going to make a play to buy Valve. I don't know about that. I really don't know about that. All right, so it's currently 11-14. There we go. Yeah, it's not just PC development at that point. It's not. It's like it's basically going to be like a pre-built rig from, you know, Asus or whoever. So yeah, you're developing for PC, but then you've also going to have these preset builds that you're going to be like, okay, we got to make sure it runs well with this. I think that's the wise approach. What did Deuterino say? CD Projekt Red said they want to focus on console for their next game, but they will always push for PC. Yo, Joker Quinn with another one. Thank you so much. Right, I think that's the worry here that I would have. And another one comes in from DK Bager. The single gifted boys are here, and they are in force. We got Stone Spire, we got DK, we got Joker Quinn, and then DK is going to renew his VIP. Thank you so much, and that gets us to 779. Thank you very, very much. Like, the concern I would have here, and now it's a tie between Team Purple and Team Red. The concern I would have here is you're going to once again make your platform unappealing to developers. Now, because if you have all these different hardware configurations, you're going to have a developer say, it's easier to develop for the Nintendo Switch 2. It's easier to develop for the PS5. It's easier to develop for the PS6. It's a closed ecosystem. Microsoft would buy Valve if they could, but it's a private company and Gabe has no desire to sell. They have to wait till Gabe retires to make an offer. Member Plus from Frank Last. There it is. That's the first 20 bomb bait of the day. A 20 bomb to get us to the next milestone, but now it's going to jump to 16 to 14 because Cold Slither just Cold Slither just gifted a single. Thank you so much. I know what you were trying to do, Cold Slither. I appreciate the effort. The 20 bomb is now an Agent of Chaos. Thank you so much. Every way I think of this, having multiple SKUs creates confusion for everyone. People who want all that are already on PC. Double Dippers, rise up. Joe Jaggy renews over here on YouTube. Thank you so much for continuing to keep the support on both places. I appreciate that so much. That's where I'm at on this, Zubair. I'm like, this is great for enthusiasts. This is great for hardcore Xbox guys that are like, I'm going to have my entire library from Xbox, from the first Xbox all the way to now. That's great for them. But for the rest of the gaming world, it's like, I don't see a long-standing PlayStation guy caring. I don't see anybody who left Xbox caring that much. Again, unless they have like a huge 360, Xbox library, the original Xbox. If they've got that huge library that they want to go back to. But it's like, even from the development perspective, I'm like, are developers going to want to wrangle with this? Like, okay, so we've got 3 different handhelds. We've got a mini PC. We've got a console PC hybrid. We've got a console. Like, this litany of devices that they're talking about making, it's like, is that going to be appealing to developers? That's the next question that I would really want to ask, is go around to developers and say, does this sound like something that would be important to you? Or does this make things more complicated? Like, where does this land in your decision making? What Microsoft is really worried about is Steam OS, says William. They left the console war to defend the operating system war because Windows is their bread and butter. I wonder if they will have a reference model for a given year that establishes the baseline, but MSI or Asus can create a version with more horsepower for more money. I mean, I think that's actually where it could be really good. If you create a baseline that you develop for, and then I can buy a stronger version. So let's just say they've got the Xbox console and it drops. It's got this new operating system on it. It's got all the new AMD tech in it. And then a year later, they have the Pro version that is essentially similar architecture, similar AMD tech and all of that, and yet it's stronger. That, I think, would be nice for people that understand the increase in power. Like, a lot of consumers don't care. They're just like, just give me the console. I'm going to run an HDMI cable to my TV, and I'm not going to think about it. But for others, it's like, no, that increase in power could be nice. Again, I don't feel like that's going to have this super strong presence because I don't think there's a lot of demand for that. I mean, even PlayStation knew that the Pro was going to be in shorter demand than the PS4 Pro because of the price point alone. They anticipated it not selling as well. Microsoft's next box is a mini PC. They are basically redoing the Steam machine thing. It'll make it easier for people to make games as it's a PC, handheld or PC. Well, making games for PC is not easier. No one's ever said that. They've actually said the opposite, that it's easier to build for the closed ecosystem of a console. Developers have consistently said this. Like, it doesn't actually make it easier. This is going to have I would imagine this has the opposite effect, Chris. It's not like, oh, well, it's a PC. That'll make it easier. It's like, no. I mean, for indie titles and AA titles that hit Steam, maybe they could be like, oh, yeah, this is just a bigger footprint for us. I don't see these items being in great demand or great supply. I don't think there's a lot of market demand for something like this. It doesn't seem to be landing on the market as it currently exists. As we've seen, evidenced by handheld saturation, Xbox console saturation. I just don't think there's this huge demand for a cascade of hardware options. Like a mini PC, a PC hybrid, a handheld, a console. Like, are they 10 years too early again? Like when they were trying to push TV. I've always said they were too early with that. That's so common now. They were too early. I still believe that. Death Knight with 2 months and a VIP. Who the heck are Xbox competing with themselves? Why are they adding all stores? Makes no sense. What's the point? PlayStation 6 will kick butt for quality. Love the chat, mate. I lurk a lot now. Thank you so much, Death Knight, for jumping back in. And that gets us to 783. And that gets the contest to 18/14. Team Red versus Team Purple. Thank you so much. Guys, check your primes. Check your resubs. We're working on a huge goal for tonight. It'll be an entirely extra stream if we can hit 1,000 on the week. I heard the new PC console hybrid is going to basically emulate older games. Xbox operating system is dead. The Xbox operating system is going to be replaced by Windows, yes. Sarah Bond literally says that in the video in so many words. She says they want Windows to be the #1 gaming platform. So what they're doing is, hey, somebody ordered some coffee. Thank you so much, Kale, for ordering some coffee and reminding me to put it in the frame. You guys can go to reforgeroast.com. We have our own coffee, and that is something that you can do to support me and the family. The wife and kiddos bag it up and ship it to you. You'll get little thank you notes from them. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, do that. Hit the bell button and get me to 200 likes. We need it. We're 25 minutes in. You guys are crushing it. People seem to forget that Microsoft owns some of the largest IP on the planet. Epic also has a storefront, and they have the biggest game. Having Epic, Steam, and Game Pass in your ecosystem is valuable. Why? What does Windows currently get from letting you install Epic on a PC? Deuterino. Like, what does Windows currently get from you being able to install Steam on Windows? What do they get from that? I guess is my question. How are you envisioning this being valuable to the consumer, but what's this do for Microsoft, I guess is my question. If Xbox Handheld has Steam, there is no incentive to make a game for Xbox and Steam. I think that is Xbox's goal. All games on Steam and their launcher just for the old Xbox library. Just like Windows on PC. It's not valuable to Windows or Microsoft. That's what I'm not understanding. Like, how would that be valuable to them? Valuable to the consumer, yes. Mash makes a good point. All Xbox would need to do going forward is maintain the old library. Every new game comes out as a PC game. Yeah. I'm sorry, I froze on that. My whole brain froze on the idea that maybe when Sarah Bond says what she says about Windows being the #1 gaming platform, they are not even interested beyond that. Like, yeah, just install the stores, play the games, we don't care. Oh, and we're going to have our own way of playing the classic library. That's a bigger exit strategy than I even originally conceived of. I think that's even more significant. And a 5-bomb comes in from Raphael McCoy, and that takes us to 23-14. You guys are still in this, Purple. You are still in this. It's 788. We're 12 away from the current stretch. Thank you so much. It's all Windows. They're basically saying, yeah, they're basically saying we're done. We're just going to be Windows. I mean, that's what it feels like to me. The value to the consumer is that in order to pull this off, they've got to go crazy with back compat and the AMD partnership. But they basically just told everybody, yeah, I mean, we're done. We're just going to do Windows. You'll be able to buy hardware with our new stripped-down version of Windows on it, and AMD is helping us with the AMD is helping with the technology, so you can run all your old games. And a single comes in from Raphael McCoy. Windows makes more money than Xbox. Right, it's almost like Windows is absorbing Xbox. Like when I made my video and I said Microsoft killed Xbox, it's almost like it seems like they didn't kill it. They're consuming it. They're like absorbing it. And Stone Spire does a single. We are a 10-bomb away from the milestone. Anybody can steal this. Team Purple or Team Red. What do you got? What do you got? A great tee-up tag team there from Raphael and Stone Spire. So you mean that I said 40 times now you get it? I still don't agree with once you gone. They don't want you gone. They're just stopping. They're just exiting. They're like, we're not doing that anymore. I don't like the phrase once you gone. And a 20 bomb comes in from MASH. And he says, I'm going to give us a little extra to get us past the goal. And he gets us to 810. The stretch goal, the big goal of the week is 1,000. And we'll do an extra stream with the PC. We're going to do an album listen party tonight. If we hit it, it's going to be a good time. And that takes the battle to 45-14. Purple, you're getting dusted. You're going to need some big boys to help out. It's not that they want you gone. They just aren't going to do any hardware favors going forward. You're on your own there. Well, no, you'll have to buy hardware with this new technology in it. Again, I'm not saying any of this is bad. I'm saying this is not what anybody expected. And I also don't get why I see so many people doing the wait until thing. Like, wait until is not a meme anymore. It's a mantra. It's like the people that are holding loyal and they think this is some kind of a death blow to PlayStation. I'm like, you're still doing the wait until thing? Why would you do the wait until thing? Like, this is over. It's done. They're leaving the fight. They're leaving the fight. They are not doing this to get one over on PlayStation. They're doing this so they don't have to make hardware anymore, and they just become the ecosystem software company that they've always wanted to be, that they basically already are. I mean, if it's all centered around Windows, if it's all centered around Microsoft, then that's not what any of us were thinking they were going to do. What's your opinion on Night Rain having a higher 24-hour peak and far more positive reviews than Monster Hunter Wilds? Monhun Wilds has some pretty significant problems. I also think Monhun Wilds is getting review bombs. Well, maybe not bombs because of cheating. I saw a report on that. I guess there's rampant cheating in the game or something that's causing that to happen. I also think the performance issues in Monhun Wilds were far more egregious. I never argued that like Night Rain was terrible. A lot of people have misunderstood my video and they think it's a review and it's not. My video is simply the statement that From Software is burning a little bit of their goodwill oil to get away with the game that other studios wouldn't have gotten away with. They've earned that through great games and a lot of trust from their fans. But I'm telling you, you can't keep doing that. I don't care who you are. It's one of their lowest scoring games historically. It's got like an 80% on Steam. Most of their games, when I check them, are in the 90s. They're like 12 points lower from the users than pretty much all of their games. That's a pretty significant drop for them. My argument was never about the game being fun. My argument was about the game lacking features and not being ready to ship. And the defense force that's running to my comments to yell at me, they're proving my point. Any other game would have not gotten away with that. It would have flopped. It would have gotten eviscerated. But that game is surviving on fandom. People are basically like, I love these games. I always want to be in these games. I don't care if there's no cross-play. I don't care if it was poorly tuned at launch. I don't care if it had egregious performance issues and frame issues at launch. I don't care about any of those things. Says the person who never tested it or played it. I don't need to test it or play it to know that the lack of cross-play, the lack of being able to play duos, was a significant complaint point from the community. It's why the game didn't score as well. I don't need to play it to commentate on those things. I commentate on tons of games. We all commentate on games that we don't play. There are tons of people that haven't played games. There are tons of people who didn't play Mind's Eye, and they commented on it. They watched streams, they watched videos, and they said, wow, what an utter disaster. I mean, you're holding me to a standard that you don't hold other content creators, and I think it's because you have some kind of an agenda against me. I don't know why you would consistently watch. I don't know why you would consistently take issue with my positions. Like if I'm, and again, to misrepresent my position, you're shadow boxing. Like I didn't review the game. I commentated on why I wasn't playing. I commentated on if another studio did this, they would be eviscerated. I commonly commentate on live service games and multiplayer games and their viability. I made a ton of content on Marathon and I never played it. There is a litany of videos out there from people who made videos about Marathon and they never played it. You hold me to a standard that you don't hold anybody else to because you are obsessed with coming in here, I think, and trying to like get clips and stuff. Like, I don't know, your derangement syndrome is embarrassing. Like you're out on Main Street acting like a weirdo. I really truly mean it. I think you need to examine your entire life. You're just pathetic. I don't have nice words for you because you're not a nice person. They lost the console war in the worst way after spending enough money to buy the Lakers 7 times. They weren't spending that money to win the console war, though. They were spending that money to get out of the console war. They were spending that money to get into the publishing efforts that they're currently in. I mean it. I mean it like they didn't spend all that money. They did not spend all that money to get into to win the console war. You remember what Phil Spencer said? When he said We're not in the business of out-consoling Sony. We lost the worst generation to lose. Do you remember in that same interview, he said that Activision Blizzard is not their strategy. It's an accelerant to their strategy. He said it all right there. He said it right there. That was the accelerant to their strategy. As soon as they got ABK, they put the pedal to the dadgum floor, and it was like, yeah, we're a publisher now. Yep, we're done in hardware. We're going to other people build the hardware for us. We're going to partner with AMD. AMD's not even going to build custom chips for us anymore. AMD's going to build a suite of devices so that you can access all your old games so that we no longer have to worry about that. Oh, and then, yeah, we're basically going to make Windows the #1 gaming platform. Windows. So, yeah, they spent all that money to accelerate their exodus from their traditional approach, which was a central box with exclusives and a huge push on first-party delivery to that box. They've abandoned all of that. This is their exit strategy. They are leaving all of those fights and fronts. And 5 bomb comes in from Gambit Zero, and he sets up a 10 bomb. We are now sitting at 8:15. 8:15, and I owe YouTube. What do I owe you guys? I owe you guys 10. I'm going to do it right now. We need a 10 bomb to the next milestone. Guys, this is your opportunity in the battle, in the fight, in the battle. This is your opportunity, Purple, to take one back with a 10 bomb. You can do it. YouTube's going to be a little distracted right now because I'm dropping my own. Overall, I think they should have just released Windows 12 and have it better for gaming to avoid this runaround. If they're not trying to out-console Sony, but at the same time they're purchasing tons of content, how can folks not see that they're focusing on publishing? Well, and that's why that argument back then was so silly to me, because it was obvious what they were doing when I kept saying, when we were covering the Activision deal, I said, they're a software company. They're going to apply a software strategy. And here we are. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a time traveler. It was obvious. That wasn't difficult to see. And a 10 bomb comes in from Wilbur, and he secures the next milestone for Team Red. Purple, once again, you guys are going to have to call on the gifters on high. Like, oh, Amaranth, she's coming back to Purple. She made $38 million on Kick. I just hope she's okay. I worry about her. Like, as a dad, I don't like any of the stuff I've seen lately. It makes me, it puts my teeth on edge. It's like something bad. I get worried. I don't know. All these young kids out here. What was I saying? Software strategy. Yeah. I mean, this is another thing from 1,000 yards away. A bunch of us called this. I'm not claiming to be the only one. I am not claiming to be the only one. From 1,000 yards away, so many of us said, this is the software strategy being implemented. And what did Sarah Bond say? They want Windows to be the #1 gaming platform. There it is. The software strategy is in full motion. Software. You basically create an operating system to have in all these places, so people just show up and they're like, oh yeah, I've got Steam, I've got all my Xbox games, I've got all this stuff in one place. Oh, and they're also just publishing their games everywhere, because that's a software strategy, a strategy of distribute your software to as many places as you can. Basido was 6 months. That is an Agent of Chaos. Thank you so much, sir, for bumping us past the milestone of 825. Microsoft excels at software. Hardware has always been an issue. They failed at mobile and laptops. Now they failed at consoles. Pack it up, Lono. Your audience is basically the same thing. We had a good run. I like Caitlin. I don't think she's going to steal our audience. I don't think so. I don't think so. How are the Surface laptops doing? They keep coming out. Yeah, I don't know. I just think this move with AMD and this move with making Windows the centrality of it, I really do think it's an extension of what they're already doing, and I don't think it'll have potency. You know? I don't think it'll have potency. The Chrono Odyssey playtest is available. Apparently, it's in very bad shape from what I've seen. Microsoft excels in software. Windows says, hold my beer. I think he just misspelled. What do you mean? That ADR zone, he's saying that Microsoft excels in software. Oh, are you saying Windows is bad? I mean, Windows is huge. What are you talking about? Quick impressions of Chrono Odyssey, this guy says here. Combat, 3 out of 10. Graphics, 2 out of 10. Exploration, 1 out of 10. Movement, 2 out of 10. Crafting, gathering, worse than New World, out of 10. Animations, 1 out of 10. Basically just a New World copy with janky everything, 2 out of 10. Full review after this weekend. Good Lord. In order to properly succeed in this hardware space, you need to do one of two things. Sell a bespoke box at a subsidized price, which is then made up with software sales through it, having the only store. And they're opting to not do that. They're clearly opting to go another route. If you guys are just tuning in, thank you so much. If you're watching on the red platform, if you're watching on the purple platform, do all the things. Hit follow, hit subscribe, hit the bell button, hit the like button. Y'all are the best. Double check your renewals and your primes. The other thing you could do, says Eugene, is sell devices that aren't subsidized, make a profit off of them while allowing multiple stores on the device. They're taking route 2. Windows is the mainstream OS, but is horrible. But Microsoft buys off every competitor, but Windows is bad. Well, I mean, I would say he's saying they excel at software. I don't think he was saying that as like a fanboy of Windows. I think he was saying that's where they make all their money, homie. I think you're over analyzing what he said, ADR Zone. I don't think he's saying they're amazing at software. He's saying, no, they excel in this area. This is where they make all of their money. That is correct. They actually make most of their money from cloud and Azure services, I believe. Doesn't that surpass what they make on the OS? I could be wrong. I feel like their Azure services are B2B and generate more revenue. I could be wrong, though. I can't remember. I thought there was a report about that, about like the bulk of their income actually comes from cloud. Hardware has to be profitable itself. They can no longer rely on 30% cuts on their store. They're not making money off of Windows. They're basically giving it away for free at this point. Yeah, I feel like cloud is where they make all their money. They're going to be losing money because people are not buying from their stores. So what you're saying, Eugene, is these devices will not be cheap because they need to make profit on the device itself. Is that what you're saying? It often comes bundled. If the next Xbox or handheld is going to play the PC version of third-party games, how does it play GTA 6? While it's a console exclusive. That is a very good question. I don't think it matters because I think this thing comes out in 2027, and I think by then GTA 6 will be on PC. I think GTA 6 is going to land on PC faster this time around. I think they're going to land on consoles May of next year. It would not surprise me if they're on PC within 8 months. I think they're going to try to get on PC faster. I do. The Strauss-Zelnick seemed to indicate that PC is a bigger priority for them this time around. Like they're not going to like drag their feet and show up. Historically, isn't it like a year? I think it's going to be faster this time. You think it's day and date? I don't know about that. I mean, with the delay, that certainly is possible, but I think they like the double dip. They make a lot of money on the double dippers. I don't think they'll do that. They'll stand to make more money if they don't ship GTA 6 day and date. They're big fans of that. You're getting the Portal in a week. I hope you enjoy it. I have enjoyed mine. Looking at the current price of consoles, I don't assume that they'd be cheap. Well, they can't subsidize it. They have to pay all the partners now involved in making it. It won't be cheap, says Eugene. The delay and more people on their favorite devices to play the game, I could see day and date. No. That's not how Rockstar moves. I don't think so. They would make less money. what you're saying doesn't track because they've made stupid amount. I mean, the amount of money they made on GTA 5 getting people to buy the game more than once is ridiculous. I think they're going to do it again. I'm thinking about switching colors for my portal. The black portal. It's nice. DJ May 88 with 22 months over here on Purple. Thank you so much. That gets us to 827. Appreciate you so much. The battle between the platforms is now 60-15. I was thinking the delay for GTA 6 was more for Q&A. I don't think they delayed it for PC. No. I think all signs point to they delayed it because it's a gargantuan game and it wasn't going to be ready. I do not think the delay had anything to do with PC. I think they've even confirmed that it still is just consoles in May, whatever. And DJ May drops a 5 bomb over here on Purple and gets us to 832, and he bumps the battle between the platforms to 20-60. That's only a 40-point spread. You've got some big boys over there on Purple that could close that gap pronto. Good morning, DJ. Thank you again for that. It's so generous. And Trash Bandicoot with 31 months on YouTube says, what's up, Lono in chat? What did I miss? We've been bouncing back and forth, and we're now at 33. But the 20 bomb's going to come in from MASH and take us to 853. Another milestone secured for the red platform. It's the red versus the purple, and it's hard to beat Team Red. They have a MASH. I'm sorry, Team Purple. You need your own Hulk over there. You're going to get the black DS Edge as well. I mean, Brooklyn, why do you... I don't know, man. You're being really transparent about it. You just prefer black. I mean, why is it got to be... Why is it got to be about black versus white? I mean, I don't... I mean, you just buy what you want to buy, I don't know why we got to make it about that. Lono's love for red. Hey. We don't talk about that. Madam's within earshot. We don't talk about my love for red, okay? All hail the motherland and everything else. What are you trying to say? I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just sitting here. I'm just sitting here doing a show. I thought it was cool. I thought we were cool. I'm still being cool. I don't know what you're talking about. A single comes in from Stone Spire. I know what Stone Spire's doing. Stone Spire's going to set up a 20-bomb dunker. If somebody wants to take the glory and not leave it to MASH, this is your opportunity, all right? 83 is going to be the total for Team Red. It's now 855. 875 is the next milestone. This is your opportunity to steal it. Yeah. Did you guys see this? So there are posters for Metroid Prime 4 that says out now. And everyone's like, what? No, it's not. Somebody made a mistake. And Nintendo confirms out now messaging on Metroid Prime 4 is incorrect. We know. We know it's incorrect. We can't play it. What are you talking? Oh no! He did another 20! MASH! Get the frick out of here. You can't do 2 20s in a row. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. Jiminy Christmas. You gotta let him. Listen. You gotta let him fight. You gotta let him have a chance. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's over. Poor Purple. I'm sorry, Purple. I can't restrain this man. I thought you guys had a shot. I really did. I thought you had a shot, man. Frick. Ah, well. Nothing you can do. Sorry. I mean, the only thing you can do, Purple, is spam Farty Bomb. Spam the Lono Bomb emotes, man, Lono Farty, and see if you can't summon a 50 bomb over there. You guys are going to need it. I mean, good Lord. It's a spread. What's that sound that you're hearing? It's the sound of MASH dragging his giant sack across the room. That's right. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor. do me a favor and smack that like button. And hey, somebody ordered some soda from Sprecher. Thank you so much for doing that. If you guys don't want to drink my coffee, you're a soda drinker instead, Sprecher's got cherry cola, orange dream, root beer. The orange dream is my favorite. It's like a creamsicle in a can. It's wonderful. You can use the soda command and support that sponsor of what we do here. Anyway, that's a good meme. Some days it do be like that. Yeah. Purple's winning. Mash. What was I saying? What were we saying? We're all off topic. Oh yeah, the Metroid thing. I don't know if that means the Metroid release is imminent, if they're going to do like an event and just drop it, or if somebody literally made an enormous mistake and they're like way ahead of time. No, the coffee does not come whole bean. I have to buy it myself and have it shipped to my house. Did you ever order the black cherry from Sprecher? I just ordered my next batch. Oh, that was you? I have not tried the black cherry. I should ask them for some. I would probably like it because I've liked black cherry soda before. You ordered some last week and got it yesterday? Nice. Just make sure anytime you go to Into the AM for t-shirts or Sprecher for soda, just use my code. Use code Lono. Same if you go and get any Gamer Advantage glasses. Or if you go and if you guys go to Control, the meal replacement company, I'm also partnered with them. You're a seltzer guy now, cutting down your sugar intake? That's perfectly legitimate. There's a link for the soda in the Discord. Oh, we can get it in there. I don't think it is, though. Yeah, I'll be playing Rematch with Hilly today. Guys, I don't know. I can't stop playing that game. I think its biggest problem is matchmaking. I could not get into ranked matches. I wanted to try it to see how it felt. Like, I did my placement matches, and it took forever because I couldn't get matches. And then after I got my placement, I just couldn't get matches. I was so bummed. I was like, man, this game has massive potential, but if you can't get the matchmaking to work right, you're just going to lose people. Nobody's going to want to sit around and wait. Also, if you play 3v3s and 4v4s to get ready for ranked, you're not going to be prepared. 5v5 is ranked. I don't know how I feel about that. I think that's probably going to be amazing if they can get some esports movement with this game, because I think 5v5 is like really intense and really tight. 3v3 opens up 3v3 opens up quite a bit, and it's more, I think it's just more fun, more laid back. So yeah, I saw a tweet about tweet. Let's just shut down. Let's just take the day off. I saw a tweet about the game of the year. I saw Mighty Keith tweet about game of the year. I did it. Frick. Sorry, Keith. You know I love you. Yeah, he thinks it's Expedition 33. I think he's right. I think I may make a video about that. Catwalk with 2 months over here on Purple. Thank you so much. Bumping the line by 1, and we appreciate that so much. I did it. Take your time. Yeah, I did it. I got through it. I'm not going to take any more questions about this challenging time of having to read Mighty Keith tweet in one sentence and getting and making sure I don't say other things. No more questions at this time. Okay. Let's go back to what we were talking about, which is the Bible. I'm kidding. He's stroking out, boys. He's losing it. Boy, that's just crazy. Here, take my soul. He pulls his soul out. That's the power. That's the power you have over this community. I love Mighty Keith, dude. He's the best. Tom Henderson has tweeted about more massive layoffs at Microsoft. Yeah, we already heard about this. I dislike Microsoft as much as the next person, but they did a stupid amount of hiring from 2019 all the way until like 2023. Yeah, they're recalibrating. They overhired like everybody else. They overhired more than everybody else. You got to think about it like this. I'm not defending Microsoft, but just hear me out. Everybody overhired, so then everybody had to recalibrate and drop back down operational costs, okay? If they don't do that, it spells trouble, and then that can lead to worse things. I know people hate layoffs, but a lot of these instances, if they would have avoided the layoffs, it would be more harmful to the companies because of the overhiring. Now, if people in tech sectors and software sectors are overhiring, then Microsoft's going to do the same thing at a bigger scale because of how enormous they are. So, I'm not defending them. I'm just saying they're obviously going to lay off way more people than anybody else because they're enormous. They hired a stupid amount of people. I'm talking about Microsoft as well. This is not just Xbox. This is Microsoft, like, globally. They've got so many employees. Be worthless and get the platinum trophy in Mind's Eye, you grifter, or meet me in the streets. Seeds, listen to me. Listen, I don't need to be killed. I will not meet you in the streets. I mean, I'll meet you for dinner and drinks and maybe a snuggle, but it just depends on how the evening goes. But no, I'm not fighting you. And no, I will. Yeah, no, we actually have it as an incentive on the channel. I will get a platinum in Mind's Eye if we get to 700 member plus and above. So get to upgrading, boys, over here on YouTube. All right, get to upgrading. It's $1 more. It's $6 a month. If we get to 700 people, then I got to play Mind's Eye all the way to platinum, and I really don't want to. That's why it's a pretty high goal. Okay. Take a quick second. Guys, if you're on YouTube, and hit the like button. Let's try to get to 300 likes really quickly. No, it's not tough to get. I just have no desire to ever play that game again, and I also do not like getting platinums. I saw a thumbnail of a negative review on Expedition 33 that said, you can't have sex with Minoko. I feel that's fair. I'm going to have to reassess my thoughts on Game of the Year. Yeah. Because we all know that Minoko is bae. I mean, there's something about that mask and that hair. I mean, it just does something tribal to me. Tribal? It does something... No, that's the wrong word. It does something... What's the word? Primal. Oh my gosh, my brain could not find the word. I was like, it's there somewhere. What word am I thinking of? Primal. Chat. I think this is my last year streaming. My brain can't take it. I think I'm dying. I said Mighty Keef, and then Queef, and now I've said tribal instead of primal. I am Primal Queef. There you go. Reckless Gambit with 37 months and a member plus says, are these folks trying to destroy your will to live? Forcing someone to platinum Mind's Eye. Isn't that against the Geneva Conventions? They have no jurisdiction here. And we're going to go to 77, but then we're going to go to 78 because Patrick Q is going to renew as well. Thank you so much, Patrick Q. Cheers to your retirement. Shame it had to end this way. I'm going out with a bang, boys. You good, cuh? I'm good. Oh, my gosh. My brain's not what it used to be, guys. It reminds me of a great episode in Succession. One of the main characters tells all the employees, we're on the brink of shutting down. Give me your all so we can have a chance of surviving. Comes back at the end of the day to gather all the great ideas and brainstorm and says, anyway, you're all fired. Yeah, I rolled credits on Expedition 33 2 nights ago. Is it true that Reforge Gaming thinks he can destroy anyone in a rap battle and he will be wrecking Kendrick Lamar first? I don't know where you're hearing this, but no, that's absolutely not true. No. You're fine. Think of it this way. At least you don't have an itch on a leg that isn't there. They should have just let you keep it, Tally, and then you could just go to the freezer and itch it, and it would probably work. I honestly think that's a huge misfire. Like, you know what I'm saying? That just should be normal practice, honestly. You should just have amputated leg in your freezer, and you're like, my leg itches. Hang on. You just go over to the freezer, open the door, you're like, that's the stuff. Like a psycho. This is a part of every sentence I try to say. You're good. What? What's a part? Oh, yes, I do. What are you talking about, Orphan? What are you talking about? Have you tried scratching the prosthetic? The mind is very powerful. Yeah, you could just scratch the fake leg, you know. You could just scratch somebody's leg, you know. Everybody needs a good scratch every now and again. What are we even talking about? What's the topic? Xbox's exit strategy. Oh boy, we're an hour in and we're already off. So, did I miss any aspect of this? I feel like we're all in agreement. We didn't get any disagreements today. You don't have a prosthetic? Oh, she's hardcore, y'all. She just pogo sticks. I mean, that's impressive. I got respect for that. That's awesome. You should get into martial arts. Everybody would want to see that. I would. That would be incredible. I've got a spot in the middle of my back I can't reach. I volunteer as scratching tribute. That reminds me of the guy that found a leg in a barbecue in a storage unit. The previous owner of the leg was saving it to get it put back on, if I remember correctly. Well, why did he wait so long? No disagreement? Nobody disagreed. Like, we've never had this before. There's always somebody in chat. There's a lot of you here that still are on that team. Me versus Talika in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I feel like she would win. I really do. I feel like there would just be years of aggression that would come out and I would die. Teefs, queefs, snuggles, prosthetics, sex with Monoko. This is all part of Xbox's strategy. Phil's a genius. Xbox Anywhere just like Sega? Does anybody feel like, okay, there's got to be somebody in chat that thinks this is a threat to PlayStation. I mean, I'm seeing people say it. Nobody here wants to argue that side. I was really, really hoping. If you're going to be barbecuing chicken legs, what side do you cook first? Huh? You kicked them all? I didn't kick anybody. I kicked a guy that was clearly trolling. Do you want to argue? I hope there's somebody in chat. It's not me. Sony's not losing sleep over this. If Xbox is anywhere, where the F is my Halo PS5 edition? They'll be completely fine. That's the most boring. This is the most boring go out with a whimper ever. You've taught us well is all. They're conceding the high-end console market to PlayStation. If anything, it's a white flag. What the heck? I was like, huh? Like, there's nothing? Nobody? And and a 5 bomb comes in from Primal Queef. Thank you so much. Oh Lord, it's over. We're off the rails. We've lost the fight of being sensible today. We're on the runway. We'll have 900 any moment, and then we're gonna be going for 1,000. Okay, we're done. We're cooked. No debate, no conversation, no clips. Sorry. I really hate to disappoint people. It's been so calm. Rematch is so cool. I'm telling you, Rematch has massive potential, but they got to figure out matchmaking or they're not going to get any momentum over the weekend. Like, the player numbers are not that impressive on Steam. I really thought they were going to have a bigger start. They've had 1 million unique players already, which is pretty good. It's pretty good. Game Pass could be padding that. Vacation? What, do you go to his sister's house? Heyo! I'll argue on their behalf if you want. I have no idea what I'm talking about, so it'll be a nice simulation of what the real thing would be like. Adam, that's good. That's good. I like that joke. No argument, Lono. Nobody believes in Xbox anymore. Most of the games PlayStation put out the last few years have all been sequels or DEI slop, says Trill. That's such low-level bait. That's terrible bait. Why do you hate Xbox? Did I do that right? You got it. You got it. I tell you what'll happen. I know what'll happen. This is what they'll say. They'll be like, Reforge banned all of the Xbox fans from chat, and now he has nobody to debate with. That'll be the claim now, because that's not true. We have people here every day that for the past couple of weeks have been coming in and going for Xbox, and they're not banned. I just think they're done. They're like, yeah, there's no way to, no, I can't spin this one. It's over, boys. Read my above comment. What'd you say, Hex? Hex said, okay, I'll bite. This is a loss for Sony because Microsoft is a pro at making themselves the option for software. Couldn't this pose a danger to Sony's software endeavors? Hadigan says, not banned yet. Xbox better? Okay. I need people in chat right now. Okay, I want to know. Is there any hardcore Xbox fans here right now? What do you think of this? I've got to know your opinion. I'll take the bait. Sony's a threat to itself. It's their company-wide policies that will hurt them, not Microsoft. Lack of innovation and reliance on multiplayer. Don't have much space. Do you mean that, or are you just trying, Joseph? Because I don't think that's even remotely true. They've spent so much more on first single player games. I think Joseph's memeing. I don't think he means that. Also, they've made a killing in live service with Gran Turismo and MLB The Show and Helldivers, and then Marvel Tocone. I mean, they're gonna be sitting pretty on live service. I don't think they're concerned about Concord and factions, and I think they should just cancel Fair Games and spare themselves the embarrassment. Just keep it out of the frame and everybody will forget about it. I mean it. I just keep it out of the frame. Nobody wants that freaking game. I'm an Xbox guy. I usually come here to see options. What do you think of all the announcements? Nova says, see my previous comment. That's the real reason. People don't want to cross you. Like Helen, I'm not reading that out loud. That's terrible, Nova. I'm not reading that. That's even too far for me. Can you read my last message? It might be a little high up. Hang on. Ghost says the game looked like a mix of Assassin's Creed and Uncharted with God of War mechanics. I think it's about to be a banger if it can deliver. Oh, Blood Message. Yeah, Blood Message looks good. I threw it in my games for wishlist and radar room in the Discord. Matt Piscatella says, hate to contribute to a discourse, but third-party share of Switch 2 software in the U.S. is far better than it was during Switch 1 launch. So it actually is doing well? Why do you want to debate? It's fun. It's fun. I told you this before. I was a solid bleed green guy, says Alex, and I still kind of am. But they've done so bad this round, I spent thousands to move to PC. I've accepted the fact that it will inevitably become a publisher only, and I've moved on. Ain't no fight to fight, in my opinion. I honestly thought the PlayStation 6 needs to have Steam on it or it will flop. Yeah, that's not good enough. We know that's silly. Don't scare anyone. I'm an Xbox dude, but facts are the facts. Yeah, you Xbox guys are just conceding. You're like, yeah, what do you want us to say? I respect it. No. I respect it. I thought for sure we were going to have people coming in and saying, wait until this is it. PlayStation's in trouble. This is going to hurt PlayStation. I mean, I've seen it on Twitter, but we know that that's an engine that runs on stupidity. Like you say the dumbest thing you can to get the highest, maximum return. You just move fully back to PC. How many of you were Xbox guys and you've just switched to some other form of gaming? You either gone to PlayStation or PC. How many of you? They don't want to get banned? Killer Instinct, that's stupid. There's plenty of bleed green guys right now that are here all the time, and they debate with me all of the time. and they don't get banned. We don't do that here. TJ Love, you, me. I went to PC, me. PlayStation and PC, me. Oh my gosh. You guys just all switched. You're like, I don't even care anymore. That's why nobody's defending it. You just moved. Back to Nintendo, Xbox. Hadigan, you went Xbox to PS5? Oh my word. I switched when Halo came out. Originally a PlayStation guy, got an Xbox for different reasons. Where are you with the brands now? Talking about video games or consoles will get you banned here. Come on, people. Taking shots at people's character, different story. Yeah. Rematch hits 1 million players on first day. I wonder if Game Pass is inflating that, though. They only got like 90,000 peak. They only got like showing games best rated, most played. Let's check Xbox. What? This can't be right. Hang on a second, boys. I hate the Xbox website. It never lets you leave when you hit the back button. It's like, no, you're stuck here for forever. Okay, most played games. What the frick? Where's Rematch? It's not even on the page. There's no way. If they hit 1 million players and they're on Game Pass, what is it, like soaring on PlayStation? There's no way. Excuse me. I think it's got to be a glitch. Rematch is not even listed. There's no freaking way that game being on Game Pass and it's not even in this group. Am I scrolling past it? Help me out here. PlayStation in Europe. Oh, it could be booming in. Yeah, it could be booming in PlayStation in Europe. Yeah. And the American crowd is saying no to it. You know, Xbox we know is firmly planted. I'm just wanting to scroll to see if we can find it. This has to be a glitch. There is I refuse to believe that game doesn't have more players right now than frickin' Bluey. There's no way. It's got to be a listing glitch. It's on Game Pass, boys. There's no way it's this low. They don't buy that for a minute. It's a sports title on Game Pass. It would be people just downloading it and trying it would keep it higher than plate up. I think it's a listing glitch. It's not being included in this page for some reason. Type it in the search bar. Well, that's not going to do anything for us. Yeah, right here. It's on Game Pass. That I'm telling you, that has to be a listing glitch. They got 1 million players in the first day. How dare you slander Bluey? Refresh. That's the US website. Oh, can I switch it to EU up here by switching the letters? Yeah, it won't let me. If they got 1 million players in one day and most of them are not coming from Game Pass, that's actually a good thing because that means they got a lot of sales. Rematch on the PlayStation Store, it only has a little under 2,000 ratings. I don't think so, dude. Xbox app has 3.5 stars. It's not scoring well because of the matchmaking issues. It had a lot of desync and lag the first couple of days in early access, and last night I couldn't even get into a ranked match. It's also not showing the most played. in the PC Xbox Game Pass either. Yeah, I'm telling you, that's a listing glitch. That's a listing glitch if I've ever seen one. Because there's no way that game on Game Pass isn't at least in the top 50. It's got to be at least in the top 50. It's annoying. It came to Game Pass yesterday. Give it a week. No, Mash, my point is they're saying they got 1 million unique players in the first day, and I'm thinking a lot of those probably came from Game Pass. Shaolin Soccer. This is what I've been trying to say. Games with a hard skill cap are always going to sell well, and the player base will be small. I keep saying this, says Dirge. You've been playing with no issues? Homie, I was trying to do my placement matches last night because I've really taken to the game. I like it. I'm very surprised by that, by the way. I don't play sports games. And I couldn't get into a ranked match. It would just sit there and sit there and sit there and sit there. I think I was matchmaking once for like almost 8 minutes before I got into a game. You have to get good at the game. People won't enjoy getting destroyed. See, I think the biggest issue is that's why ranked. That's why I wanted to play ranked. I wanted to play ranked because it's like if it's going to rank me and be like, okay, you're in this hemisphere, it would put me in pools of players that I would have a good time with instead of getting like obliterated. See, Fresh says PlayStation is doomed. Okay, we got one. We got one on the line. Okay, why do you think PlayStation is doomed? The most played section might not have updated in the database yet. Yeah, I mean, it released yesterday, right? So it could be a day behind or something. I don't know. When I played the beta, very few people left games early. Yesterday, people were leaving after 1 goal in quick play. Yeah, I don't know why they're doing that. I've had so many comebacks. I don't know why they're doing that. Now, some of those comebacks have still resulted in a loss, but we've scrambled and tied it and then lost at the last second, and that's fun. I don't even care at that point. That's a good game. For some reason, maybe it's because I coached it, I'm okay with ending on like a tie or losing by like 1. I don't know if it lets you end on a tie, actually. I'm okay with that happening. It's intense and it's fun. I think it's part of the experience. I've only quit 1 game, and it was because it was too laggy. There was a guy that was literally like teleporting around the map. He was on my team, and I was like, I couldn't pass to him. And then all of a sudden, he tried to pass the ball to me, and the ball disappeared. And then it was like on the other side, and then a guy kicked it in, and I was like, I don't even know what just happened. So I just disconnected. I just quit that one. That's the only game I've quit. And it wasn't like a rage quit. I was like, I think I have a terrible connection to these, or somebody has a terrible connection. And then my next game was fine. So, if you guys have not hit the like button yet, do that for me. Let's get to 300 likes. And we've got a full day, but we're still a ways away from the big goal, boys. Make sure you're doing your renewals. Make sure you're checking your primes. The controls are weird, but it's fun. As soon as you figure out that left trigger and X is to do like lateral movements or forward, forward, backward, left, right, you're trying to you're basically like trying to dribble the ball on a grid. So use your left trigger for that, and then use your right bumper for going up. So you're either going to pass it, you're either going to chip pass it, or you're going to rainbow it over the player. Once you get that down in your mind, like you kind of separate those two things, getting around players starts to happen. I did it. I was actually starting to get around players by doing that. I would like go to the side, and then I would rainbow it over them, and then I would get past them. Or like my favorite thing to do, I like playing goalie, take the ball up to midfield, draw a defender, chip it over him, and now I got a man on the wing with nobody on him. That's like my favorite thing to do. Yo, Mr. Jellyfish, thanks for using your Prime. I appreciate it. Getting us to 880 for you, the best. Did C-Fresh say anything else, or was he literally just... I think he was just... Chip shots are strong. The only thing I don't really like about the game is, yeah, nobody passes. Holy crap. When you get somebody who passes to you and you're open on a cross, it feels so good. It feels like you're actually playing soccer with people. I hate ego players. They won't chip it down the wing. They're buried on our own wing. They're just sitting there and egoing, like trying to dribble past them. I'm like, dude, chip it down. What are you doing? Get it the frick out of here. Why are you egoing? Or give it to keeper's ball, and then go down, and then I'll throw it to you. They just won't give up. They're like, I'm going to get around this person. It's like, oh, the ego plays are the worst because they always get it stolen from them. Oh, you were just trolling. And then, the people that will not pass, they'll get buried on the wing, and it's like, brother, either drop or cross. What are you doing? You're buried, and they'll try. The other thing I really don't, this is the one thing about the meta that I'm not thrilled with. There are already people that are getting very, very good at stopping it, but the high shots that bounce off the wall and then they kick it in, I hate that that's the meta because it doesn't feel like you're shooting on goal. It feels like you're taking advantage of getting, like, it's almost impossible to defend against. It's so fast. It's like off the wall, bam. What are you talking about? The greatest players in the history of the beautiful game played with ego? It's a video game. I'm talking about somebody who's like basically playing for themselves in a team game. It's like, pass the ball. What are you doing? Somebody said something. Anyone who watches consistently Lono respects honest feedback, not false claims and disingenuous nonsense, like you said. Oh, yeah. What did Ghost say? Can I click on Ghost's name in your tweet? That would be so amazing if I could click on Ghost's name in your tweet and see what he's saying. I've been around for a while, and I've seen Lono almost steam coming out of his ears from someone who had to push back against him, and he actually respected them for it. Oh, right. Yeah, I don't ban people for disagreement. That's just such a false claim. Rematch is more like actual soccer than football club games because you have to pass the ball much more than in football club. Yeah, I'm not going to touch Gears Beta today. He didn't say anything bad. No, I knew he didn't say anything bad. I was just curious what y'all were saying. Detective C says, I don't see Crimson Desert releasing this year at all. Lono in their tweet. Yeah, that's me. I'm like, pass it. What's good, El Nini? I believe Xbox is just revving up their engines. They are going to revolutionize gaming. In what way do you feel like they're going to revolutionize gaming? Yo, poor Waffle uses a Prime. Here we go. Come on. We're 15 away from 900, and then we're on the runway. We are on the runway at that point to get the big goal for the week. His question was for you, not for me. What question? Going more PC and cloud-based? Okay, how does that revolutionize gaming, though? PC is already an enormous gaming platform. Steam has the largest user base. So, what? I don't understand. What are they revolutionizing? What's going to be different in your mind? Like, what's going to be this? What's going to be this big changing point? Like the hinge that you think like the history of gaming is going to turn on. What is it? I don't see it. It's like, yeah, Steam's going to still be really, really big, and cloud gaming is in multiple places. You've got Nvidia, you've got PlayStation, and then you got Xbox. I mean, they're all making efforts. Bring Steam to an Xbox console. What's revolutionary about that, though? It sounds to me like it's going to be more like a PC. The operating system will be Windows, and you'll basically have Steam in your living room. I love the idea of having Steam in my living room, but I don't think I would call that revolutionary. I would call that like, oh, that's meeting a need that I've wanted to have met. I don't see the revolution. If the revolution is televised, I don't see this happening. I'm like, what are we watching here? We're just watching a company let Windows sort of take over and get in the driving seat and become the de facto platform as they publish their games everywhere. I don't know what's revolutionary about that. Allowing multiple storefronts on a home console has never been done before. Yeah, but what's revolutionary about turning a console into a PC? Right now, if that matters to you, Jake, there is an answer for that in the market. You can buy a gaming rig and you can do that. I don't understand what you're going to be given the ability to do something a little bit easier than it is right now. Right now, if you want that in your living room, you can get it in your living room. I'm with you. I don't do it. I don't want to do it. It being easier is nice. How is that revolutionary, though? It's just like, oh, this is going to be a little bit easier to have a gaming operating system in your living room that has all the storefronts. You can literally do that right now. It's not withheld from you. It's available in the market. A $5 super chat from Jeffrey. PC's been out for 30 years along with PlayStation. It hasn't hurt PlayStation at all. PC's not it, PC Warriors. I mean, I think PC is a great experience. I'm setting up one today. Does it have to be revolutionary? TJ, I'm not saying it has to be. Someone in chat said this will revolutionize gaming, and I'm like, how? We're asking that question. Someone made the claim, and we're asking how. I'm not saying it has to. Most games are developed on PC using Windows, so they'll perform better in the future. Yeah, there's no logic to that. That's not true. Just because they develop games on a PC using Windows doesn't mean that the game will perform better on Windows. That is false. That's demonstrably false because plenty of multi-plat games have come out lately and they run better on console versus PC. And plenty of PC ports have come out lately and don't run well. I mean, Jedi Survivor is a great example of a multi-plat that ran poor on PC. Monhun Wilds had all sorts of issues on PC at launch. Dragon's Dogma had all sorts of issues at launch. What you're saying is not true. Developing on PC does not give you a leg up in optimization. That's a misunderstanding of how games are developed. If that were the case, then porting PlayStation games to PC would be easy and take no time at all. Then you wouldn't have bad ports like Last of Us Part 1 and Spider-Man 2. Well, they were developed on PC, that should be automatically better, right? No, that's not how it works. They were developing on a PC for a dev kit of the PS5. So the game was built for the PS5. If you take that away, I don't think you end up with better optimized games. PC's the master race. Everyone knows this fact with an ounce of intelligence. Well, now you've simply asserted a gaming idiom that is not factual. Saying PC is the master race, saying that's a fact, no, that's like an idiom. That's like an ideology. That's not a fact. You haven't argued for your position very well at all. Everything you've claimed up to now, I've just falsified. Like, if PC's the master race, why do you seemingly not even understand how game development works? You don't seem like the master race to me. You seem like the race that doesn't know much. Like in the gaming world of races, like. There's the console guys, there's the PC guys. If you're playing for that side, you're not representing them very well. Hooking up to a TV isn't that hard. It's the starting up of navigating unless you have a wireless trackball. Right, Mango, that pain being alleviated is great. Me being able to buy a box, plug it in, push a button, and it's simplified, streamlined, and especially if the Windows operating system is geared around this, I love that. I don't see that being revolutionary. It's a great value to certain consumers. The backwards compatibility is a great value proposition to certain consumers, but it's not revolutionary. There's nothing revolutionary about it. I have access to my entire library on my Switch 2 right now, save a handful of games that have some performance issues. That wasn't revolutionary that they gave me backwards compat on my Switch. Joe says, PC's the opposite of optimal. You can't get the types of driver optimizations that are possible on console. That's the trade-off of supporting so many hardware permutations. You don't see playing PC games on a console revolutionary? No, because it's not going to... They're redefining what it is to be a console. Track with me here. It's not revolutionary because you can do it right now, brother. They're just streamlining your ability to do it. PC games on a console, but if it's a PC, basically, running this Windows operating system... They've redefined what it is to be a console. It's like, okay, well, it's basically a pre-made rig with an operating system that makes it convenient for me to put this in my living room. I'm not interacting with the traditional PC, operating system and software. So they're redefining. If they call that a console, great, but it's basically a pre-built rig with an operating system centralized around gaming, which is a great value to the consumer. I am not saying this is bad. What I'm saying is I don't see it being revolutionary. You can do it right now if you're willing to eat around the fat of needing like a wireless mouse and keyboard and navigating the operating system to Steam Big Picture mode, and then you're in. Like, they're streamlining that process. That's good. I think that's great. I will buy one and I will use it. But I would never describe that to anybody as revolutionary. To be revolutionary, I mean, let's look up the word, right? Involving or causing a complete or dramatic change. It's not a dramatic change. It's not a complete change. It is something you can do right now. They are simply making it quicker and easier. That's it. Let's say this. The removal of loading screens, I would never describe that as revolutionary. It makes me get into the game quicker and more efficiently. It's a next-gen feature that we were promised this gen, but I wouldn't be like, dude, faster or no loading screens, that's revolutionary. No, it hasn't completely and dramatically changed my experience. I guess you could say it's dramatically changed the experience in some games, because some games the loading screens are pretty dadgum long. So, you could argue it's dramatically different, but it's not this complete change. I'm just getting in quicker. I'm getting in faster and more efficiently. That's revolutionary for me. Yeah, that's subjective to the game, because some games the loading screens weren't that bad. Other games it was like, oh my gosh, this is taking forever. And removing that is pretty dramatic. 60 FPS is not revolutionary. Yeah, I don't think I would describe that as revolutionary. I would describe it as a pretty dramatic uptick, though. I mean, doubling your frames is pretty significant. That's pretty significant to double your frames. That I would argue that's a dramatic change, but I don't know if it's dramatic enough to call it revolutionary. You're playing the same game, and it's smoother, looks better, feels better. Butter says the only games that are not on console are either so small and insignificant that they wouldn't allow them on the console, or they weren't allowed on console due to quality or rating. At least when it comes to Steam and Epic Games, if they let you go to the website and download someone's game, most of those probably won't even run on the consoles, for example. Escape from Tarkov barely runs on a PC. You're not running that on a console. I don't know if I agree with what you're saying, Butters. I mean, I think a lot of games are on PC only because of limited budget and scope, and they know the investment to develop and build the game and bring it to Xbox or PlayStation would probably not amount to good enough conversion. There are certain games that just vibe with Steam audience more than they would with, like, PlayStation or Xbox. Schedule 1 would like to have a chat. Yeah, like Schedule 1 could run on anything. That could run on a graphing calculator. I don't think that's not on console because it can't run or it's being disallowed. I think that's where he focuses development. You can there's just something about those games, you can feel it. You're like, yeah, this is a small team. It was easy for them to build this for PC, and they don't want to, or maybe they don't feel like they could justify bringing it to PC. Also, a game like Schedule 1 is very much mouse and keyboard centric. Like, my wife and I tried to play it the one night on a controller, and it just was a little arduous. It was not, I wouldn't describe it as a smooth process. Did Mr. Revolution say anything else, or did he? Hang on. Dark Cloud says, if Xbox is no longer going to make a console, but they're going to make a PC, that works better for me. And here's the thing. I've said that so many times today, Dark Cloud. That's a great value to you. It's a great value to certain people. I don't think it's going to be revolutionary. Lono's just getting hits left and right on this dude. Please, brother, throw in the towel. I think it's totally fine. And I think this is where a lot of these conversations have gone off the rails the last couple of years. And I don't think I've done the best job in handling it, right? Because I'm a pretty reactionary guy. And when somebody comes in and says something kind of crazy, I I kind of latch onto it and kind of shake the dickens out of it. And then we move on. I just think sometimes people need to say, this is going to be great or huge for me. But to act like it's going to be great or huge in the market, I think is where people overstep. It's like, I don't see this being this big tectonic shift of users. The PS5 Pro is a big waste of my money. Sony hasn't revolutionized anything. Again, I don't think the value proposition of the Pro was revolutionizing your experience. It was giving you the choice. If you go watch the Cerny video, they never talk about it in a way that your expectations were probably the problem there. He said, you're commonly having to choose between quality and performance. We're going to give you a box that removes that choice. And I have received that in spades. I've received that in spades. I have received a device that allows me to get the ray tracing, the lighting, the quality, the fidelity, but then I also get 60 FPS. It's quite literally what the value proposition was. If you bought it thinking it was going to revolutionize your experience, that's your mistake. You made a very significant error. You just created a claim or a value proposition that they never stated. Well, it sucks because it didn't make me French fries. Well, it'd be awesome if it could make me French fries, but they never said that it would do that. I'm sorry I just made everybody hungry. It's 7 to noon. But, you can't fabricate expectations and then use those as a judgment against the game. That's like buying a single player game and being like, well, where's the multiplayer? 5 out of 10. And it's like, well, you bought a game that wasn't designed for that. It never promised that. $5 super chat tip comes in from Aesthetic Perfume. Says, Xbox looking to become platform agnostic without insulting their console fan base, but they're too afraid to just say it out loud. Salute. Thank you for the 5 spot. A 5 spot from SDO. When do we stop calling the next Microsoft plastic box an Xbox and start calling it a Windows box? I think they'll call it an Xbox. I think they will. I've consistently said they should just call it, they'll go like, instead of going like Xbox Series X or Xbox da-da-da-da, I think you'll get names like, like the Xbox ROG Ally X. I think they'll have names within the pipeline, not the pipeline, within like the branding structure that they're made in. So like if Asus makes it, it'll be the Xbox, whatever Asus decides to call it. So it'll be, they made it. It'll have all that the cool AMD stuff in it. And I think they come up with slogans that'll say something to the effect of more than a console. They'll be like, this is more than a console. It's got more functionality and more things than the consoles traditionally have had. It's not a PC. It's not a console. It's more than a console. It's not a single device. I think that'll be how they couch it. Xbox literally makes the majority of its money from their console base. They're not just getting rid of 70 million players across current and last gen. I don't know if they care. I think they just want you buying their games or in their ecosystem. I don't think they care to keep those people. Why not just buy a PC then? I don't get it. That's the whole point, Silent Service, is I saw people on podcasts and tweets and stuff saying this is a threat to the PlayStation 6. They're like, well, why would I buy a PlayStation? If I can get this device and I can play all of the Xbox games, all the Steam's games, and all the PlayStation games, why would I get a PlayStation? They're conveniently leaving out the fact that you can't play all the PlayStation exclusives or first-party games. They're leaving that out. They're also leaving out the fact that you don't get the games day and date, so you have to be willing to wait. You also have to hope that whatever device Xbox builds can play PlayStation 6 games at the same fidelity as the PlayStation 6. You're hoping whatever this thing is so strong that whatever the PlayStation 6 has with the Project Amethyst with AMD yielding results and PSSR, that'll be baked into the PS6 at launch. So like this idea that it's a threat to the PlayStation 6 is ludicrous. It's like the presumption is as stupid as the people who said Series S is going to run circles around the PlayStation 5. That's how dumb they sound. It's like, you're so presumptive. It's like you think this thing's going to be that amazing, that strong, that all-in-one, that it's just going to be better than the PlayStation 6 automatically. So you have to be willing to wait for the games. You're hoping that the hardware is strong enough to run the games at the same fidelity, which if it comes out in 2027, it probably won't. If it comes out in 2027, it probably will be weaker than the 6 because it'll come out, I think the PlayStation 6 will come out in 2028. Pathlon Phoenix says, I'm sure Sony will block games on the next console. That's another thing to consider in this equation. If Xbox redefines what a console is, there's still the chance that PlayStation blocks that. Thank you, Otavio Cruz says, call it an Xbox. Thank you for the 10 spot on that super chat. I appreciate it. Guys, let's get 16 more likes on the YouTube video. Are Xbox better positioned to deal with an evolving video games market than Sony? They have greater investment in AI. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I also think there was a report that came out recently that the AI had yielded no results for them. Cloud server infrastructure. Again, Sony's got cloud server infrastructure and xCloud versus Sony's cloud services right now in the gaming space. I don't think Xbox is winning that one. Mobile gaming. Yeah, I mean, I'll give you the revenue advantage there, but that's not necessarily an advantage to deal with the evolving landscape. They just can get great revenue from mobile games like Candy Crush. And they're one of the largest publishers in the industry right now. Being a large publisher doesn't necessarily mean you're positioned to do anything other than to hopefully publish to the big platforms, which that would be Switch 2 and the PlayStation platform. Those would be the platforms you would be very concerned with making money on. I mean, we're seeing reports that there are games coming from Xbox that you're going to get physical releases on PlayStation and not Xbox. I don't know if that's all been confirmed, but it's like... And PC. Well, sure, but they're in that position right now, Yelgler. They've been putting their games on PC and Xbox day and date for years. That's not changing. PC is a huge market in China, which is growing. Right, which means they could stand to sell games there and make money, but that doesn't give them... You're saying they're in a position to like deal with the evolving games market. I don't understand. Everybody's making games and shipping them to different platforms. Why is Xbox in a better position than anybody else? There are plenty of publishers and developers right now that are developing games for PC and console, or PC later, like console first, PC later, like with GTA 6 or with PlayStation ports. Or then there's the China Hero project. So what makes them in a better position? I don't see how. They just have more property. TJ Love with 32 months. Wouldn't it be funny if PlayStation stopped sending games to PC because of this thing? PC folks would amass an army bigger than Sodomon. I don't think that PlayStation's going to do that because PlayStation has a vested interest in continuing to ship their property to that platform because the PC user base is huge. AI is going to be the future of gaming, whether we like it or not. Right, you've not demonstrated why Xbox is in a better position. PlayStation has a partnership with AMD for Project Amethyst, which will leverage machine learning and AI for the future, and they've already seen the best version of FSR came out of that relationship. That's the first, fruits of their labor. So again, I don't think you've demonstrated why is Xbox in a better position than anybody else. They're doing what everybody else is doing. You're talking game development. Again, why are they in a better position? I don't see evidence of that in the games that they ship, the quality that they ship. I don't see evidence in that in the way they treat their developers. If you go read the autopsy on 343 and Halo Infinite, I don't think game development underneath Microsoft's ownership is in a better position. I think it's in a worse position because they're more corporate, they're more utilitarian, tool-oriented. They don't understand creative process. I don't think Microsoft understands creative process. They've already initiated a program to use AI in gaming. Yeah, as has PlayStation. They're not the first to do it. Again, everybody's doing what you're saying. You haven't demonstrated why they're in an advantageous position. I don't think I'm not compelled. I'm not compelled to think that they're in a better position. My problem with that theory is, how is Steam going to get their cut? It would either raise prices or Microsoft would have to be willing to take a cut of sales. I don't think Microsoft's going to want to take a cut of sales. Money, basically. They have more resources. They've had more resources this entire time, and they failed, and they lost. More resources has not at all given them an advantage. If anything, it's given them a get-out-of-jail-free card because they were able to buy, $80 billion worth of studios so that they could suddenly become a gargantuan publisher overnight, but their more money hasn't given them the ability to innovate faster or create better property or win. They've lost with more money. They've demonstrated that the money, the power they have didn't get them anywhere. They should have won last gen and this gen handedly. They have way more money than Nintendo and PlayStation. Nintendo bombed with the Wii U. Bombing doesn't dictate future. I didn't say they bombed. I said that it has not helped them ever. They've not. The only thing it did was it kept them in the fight by doing an acquisition that allowed them to suddenly become a publisher, which is not what you're saying. You're saying, oh, they have an advantage to be better positioned in the market because they spent a bunch of money and bought a bunch of studios. That feels like a non sequitur. I don't see the logical tracking there of like, they have a bunch of money, they spent a bunch of money, and that's going to lead to better innovation. They're in a better position. I don't understand how or why. I don't see the logical connection there. I think everybody's trying to do the same thing. Leverage AI efficiently and get software into the market and make money off of it. Everybody's trying to do that, whether it's PlayStation, Nintendo, or Xbox. They're all trying to do that. I don't see how Microsoft has an advantage other than, I mean, I guess you could argue this. I could steelman your argument a little bit. You could say, well, they have so much money, they can afford to back more risky endeavors or have more failures, and they could weather that and stay in the fight longer than anybody else because they won't run out of capital or cash on their endeavors. Like if an AI endeavor goes belly up for somebody else, it might be more costly. I mean, you could probably argue that. That doesn't mean you're going to get better results. It just means that they could survive failure longer. But that doesn't support your point. Your premise was that they're in a better position to do these things in a better way and to navigate the changing landscape. I just think they can weather failure. We can't determine that Microsoft and their pocketbook will equal better innovation and better results. You could argue that they can weather failure longer than anybody else. They have more money to invest. Right, they could place more bets. That, again, doesn't mean you're going to get better results. It doesn't. PlayStation has demonstrated they are far better at understanding the needs of developers and the landscape of development with a hardware synergy between developer and platform. I think Mark Cerny and PlayStation have demonstrated a far better understanding of how to bring good games to market and how to deliver good tools and good hardware. Xbox has continued to demonstrate that they have a fundamental misunderstanding of the hardware relationship with games. They also have a fundamental misunderstanding of the creative process of bringing games to market. Live service? They've had both success and failures in live service. MLB The Show has made them tons of money. Gran Turismo 7 has made them tons of money. Helldivers 2 has made them tons of money. But Marvel Tokone Fighting Souls stands to make them tons of money. Marathon was not an initiative from PlayStation. That was initiated by Bungie before they were purchased, and it's being published by Bungie. That's out of their hands. Last of Us Factions was initiated by Naughty Dog in 2019. Again, not a PlayStation initiative. They chose to not do it because they didn't want to convert their studio into a live service game. None of that you can lay at the feet of PlayStation. Concord you can lay at their feet. I think you can lay Fair Games at their feet. They don't understand how to do live service, and I think their best path forward is what they did with Helldivers and what they've done with Marvel Tokone Fighting Souls. Like, you basically latch on to people that already know how to do it and have them do it. They've had the most catastrophic failure this generation. Right, but you're not demonstrating that they failed to understand creative process. Their track record is significantly better than PlayStation. PlayStation's track record is significantly better than Xbox's. Xbox has continued to bring games to market below performance thresholds that are expected at 30 FPS, full of bugs, full of glitches, clearly not ready. We've got autopsies on studios like 343 that demonstrate Microsoft's own policies are acidic to creative process. 343 had half the dadgum studio on a contract, and you can't stay on a contract employee longer than 18 months. So they constantly had this attrition of people walking out the door. They've had more creative directors leave, more directors leave than anybody else, and the games, when they ship, you can clearly see why. They are not in a position. This has nothing to do with Xbox, by the way. I always stress this. This is Microsoft. You can trumpet around Concord all you want. That had more to do with Firewalk being drunk on their own hubris and Herman Hulst not having a clue on what a successful live service game looks like. Bungie's failed under Sony's watch. This is completely untrue. Again, you're running talking points that are not in line with reality. These are just talking points from people that try to bash on Sony, and they do it in bad faith. But Bungie has not failed under Sony's watch. There's an entire blog post from Pete Parsons about what took Bungie into the red, and it wasn't PlayStation. Bungie operates independently of PlayStation. PlayStation calls no shots at what Bungie gets to do. Per the contract, they are independently operated right now. Bungie's the one publishing Marathon, for crying out loud. PlayStation's not even publishing it. Bungie didn't force Sony to buy them. That has nothing to do with the point that you made. You've now made another point that's been falsified with facts, and now you're just swinging like aimlessly. Due diligence. They've absorbed 250 people into SIE. They see the talent at Bungie, and they're keeping it. They spent an extra $1 billion so nobody would quit Bungie in the first year of the acquisition. They amortize the payment. They're not even done paying for them yet, and they've absorbed a studio. They've absorbed an incubation project. They've absorbed people directly into SIE. They're starting up the Live Service Center for Excellence so they can analyze live service viability of projects before they come out. They literally made a strategic move in buying Bungie. They didn't buy Bungie for Destiny, for crying out loud. Now, maybe that was like a secondary benefit. Oh, well, maybe we'll end up with the Destiny property underneath our belt, because it seems to me they're going to take over. As far as I can tell, they're in a prime position to potentially take over Bungie. Again, I don't think you're demonstrating the point that you originally said, that like Xbox is in a better position to navigate the landscape. Xbox has demonstrated a huge inconsistency in quality in bringing games to the market. They've demonstrated that they will mistreat their own studios and their own property. Look what they did to Halo. You can't gloss over that. You can't. Have we seen PlayStation do that at all with any of their property? Like when they brought out Ragnarok and Forbidden West, when those games launched, when Spider-Man launched, Ratchet and Clank, when these games came out, did they come out even close to the embarrassing state that Halo Infinite launched in? Have they mistreated any of their flagship titles like that when they come out? No. Microsoft doesn't frickin' seem to care about any of that, and that should be a cause of concern when they own that much property. They seem totally comfortable beating the tar out of their studios with a terrible contract policy and shipping games like Halo Infinite. That's right there is why I'm like, I don't think they're in a position to navigate the landscape very well. They don't interact with devs in a good way. They have a history of being like having animosity. They passively blamed Larian, insinuated a secret exclusivity deal with Black Myth Wukong because games are coming to their platform late because of their hardware choices. They have demonstrated a lack of understanding what developers need. You can cite Concord all you want. You didn't even interact with my original point. Mark Cerny and the team at PlayStation has more consistently demonstrated an understanding of what developers want and what developers need. Xbox has demonstrated the exact opposite. They hamstrung this entire gen, and they had third-party games coming to their platform late, and then they had the gall to like publicly blame the devs. They have made their platform completely unwelcoming and unappealing to devs. So no, I don't think they're in a position to navigate and help things grow. I think they're completely backing out of all of their traditional pursuits. There will not be a traditional console in the future. Windows is their focus now. They're going to let other people make the hardware for them, and they're just going to publish games everywhere. And none of that is better adapting to the landscape. It's quite literally them giving up on a fight they lost so terribly, they're basically turning into an arm of Windows, is what it is. That's a sensible adjustment. It is a sensible adjustment because it's basically a tactical army general strategy. We lost, let's retreat, let's fight on a different front. The console sector isn't growing? False. There's more MAUs on PlayStation than ever before, and they haven't even cracked into the Chinese market yet. That's not true. And the Switch 2 has surpassed Switch 1 sales. So no, that also claim that it's only been made by Team Green and Phil Spencer has been falsified just in the last months. That is not true. The console sector is growing. Record MAUs for PlayStation, record new user acquisition, and Switch 2 surpassed Switch 1's launch, but the console sector's not growing. No, Xbox couldn't grow in the console sector. Phil Spencer throws out that dog whistle to make it seem like, well, we're justified in abandoning this fight because it's stagnant. And yet somehow the other two companies are doing just fine. This was a completely justifiable one guy because you've been respectful. This has been a completely justifiable one guy. I gotta thank some people. TJ Love with 32 months says, wouldn't it be funny if PlayStation stopped sending games to PC? Oh, I already read that. I'm sorry. And then it's Chill Will with 5 months says, how much do you think Xbox pre-built PC will cost? And do you think many Xbox Series S owners are gonna think it's too expensive? I have no idea. I don't think it'll be cheap though. I don't think it'll be cheap. I think it'll. Because you're dealing with companies that want to make money on the hardware. If you have other people making the hardware for you, they want to make money on the unit. Like if Asus makes one of these for them, Asus is like, we need to make money on the unit. We're not going to sell it at a loss. Uman with a €2 says, Reforge Gaming, the voice of reason. Amen. Thank you. $130 million MAU on PS5, and Nintendo Switch 2 is the fastest selling console ever. But the console market is stagnant and not growing because Phil said so. Gosh, I'm tired of it. That man has a stranglehold on so much of the communication about these platforms. It's like, it's I don't want to talk about this. It's like he just says something and people are like, yep, console market stagnant, not growing. Why? Why is that? Where are you seeing this demonstrated? Are you seeing this demonstrated in the sales of PlayStation 5? Are you seeing it demonstrated in the MAU on the PlayStation ecosystem? Are you seeing it demonstrated with the Switch 2 sales? Where are you getting this information? Oh, Phil said it. Oh, wow. That's amazing market analysis. The CEO of the company abandoning console is telling you that the console market's stagnant. Whoa. That's compelling. Dear Lord. Like, we don't know what the results of the China Hero project are going to be, but that hasn't even made landfall yet. Like, Lost Soul aside, could be another uptick in MAU for PlayStation. It could be another uptick in unit sales for PlayStation and distribution in a market they have no presence in right now. The size of China, oh my gosh. That market. It's going to be hilarious to see. Let's just imagine, let's just say this happens. Let's just say if PlayStation manages to continue to break records that they've set for themselves and continue to have increase in saturation of the PS5 because they have success in the Chinese market, what are you going to say to that? I thought the console market was stagnant and not growing. He's completely right about growth in terms of Xbox only. A 2-spot from Jeffrey. Thank you so much. Lying Phil has brainwashed my fellow bots. Sony is growing on the back of Microsoft failing. I think that's too simplistic. With all due respect, I think that's a very simplistic view of it. I think Sony has certainly had acquisition of former Xbox people. But number one, it's too simplistic because you can't demonstrate that straight line. That's impossible to demonstrate. To have a global effort of a company maintaining not only their sales with last gen without a sale, but having MAU increase, and you're like, oh, it's because Xbox is failing. That's just too simplistic. Look at the total console sales. They're the same. But you understand, this is where you're misunderstanding. And I'm going to try and assist you here because you literally might just lack the information. And I don't say that in a condescending way. Like, there's a lot of information, a lot of moving parts here. Okay, so console sales are the same, right? How is the MAU going up? MAU stands for monthly active users. What that would mean is that the people who are still playing on PlayStation 4 and have not migrated over, there are then new people buying the PS5. This is why PlayStation has touted the one quarter, it was like 25% of the people who bought a PS5 were completely new to PlayStation, right? That's how the MAU number is going up. That means they're growing. You understand that, right? You have an active user base on PS4. You have an active user base on PS5. Their powers combined, they're hitting an MAU record. What that means is they are growing their console footprint because new people are buying PS5 and there are plenty of people still staying on PS4. Does that make sense? That to me is just math. I'm not arguing opinion, subjectivity. I'm not interpreting or spinning. That's the basic facts. They are getting new user acquisition, which is increasing their MAU records, which means they're growing their console footprint. What's the active user base on Xbox? It's hard to get a number because Xbox, when they do MAU reports, they include Minecraft and Call of Duty, and they're hitting record MAUs, but they include people who play on the Nintendo Switch. Exactly, so we don't know. Okay, you just falsified your own claim, my friend. You said, oh, that's where they're coming from. PlayStation is winning on the failure of Xbox, and I said that's too simplistic. You just demonstrated exactly why that's too simplistic, because we don't know. We don't know if it's an equal number of loss. We don't. So therefore, your claim has just been falsified. I falsified both of our claims. I didn't make a claim about where they were coming from. You did. So you falsified your own claim. All I said was, that's too simplistic. It's a global effort from PlayStation. We don't know where all the people are coming from. Funny enough, you have actually come full circle and you're now agreeing with me. I originally said, we don't know. And you just said, we don't know. So you agree with me. You said the console market was growing because it is. It is. It is growing. You can see it in the Nintendo sales records, and you can see it in the PlayStation MAU number going up. That's more people than previous. That's growth. Not if they're Xbox users. We don't know. Your claim that if there could potentially all be Xbox users, which would then demonstrate that the market hasn't grown, it simply migrated. You can't demonstrate that fact. And also, I think the broadness of that claim makes it almost impossible to believe it's even possible. You're claiming they're new users. You can't claim that they're not. You can't demonstrate that they're coming from Xbox. You can't demonstrate either. It's a lot easier, I think, reasonably to assume there are people buying PS5s that didn't come from Xbox. In order for your claim to be true, every single new person who bought a PlayStation 5 came from Xbox. I think that's a ludicrous thing to think is even possible. I think that's ludicrous. Your claim is almost impossible to believe. It goes beyond a reasonable doubt. It's like, it's possible? No, I don't think so. There are certainly people who bought a PS5 this gen that came from Xbox. To think that every single, and I mean every single, we're talking about millions of people, by the way. Millions. And you think, no, they all came from Xbox. None of them came from PC. None of them came from Nintendo. None of them skipped a couple of gens of PlayStation and decided to jump back in. I think your claim's unreasonable and not compelling at all. To think that, nope, market's not growing. Every person who bought a PS5 that's new came from Xbox. Ergo, market hasn't grown. I don't think you could ever demonstrate that. I think that's a ludicrous claim. I do. 3 singles just came in from Stonespire. I know what he's doing. He's like, boys, let's get on this final runway. He just set it up. We're 10 away. It's anybody's. Anybody can take this. Whoever hits it gets it. Team Purple or Team Red, if you guys drop a 10 bomb right now, I will owe you some members. For a young person, the PS5 might have been their first console. Yeah, to imagine that the millions upon millions of people who bought a PS5 and they're new to PlayStation, to argue that every last one of them came from Xbox is absolutely ludicrous. Even the most hardcore bleed green fans that I've interacted with would never claim that. They would never claim that. They could be brand new. They could have skipped a bunch of PlayStation gens and decided to jump back in. They're like, I've not been on PlayStation for a very long time. I'm basically a new user. They could have decided to add it to their. There are people in my community right now that are PC gamers, and they added it to their gaming experience. They identify as a PC gamer. That's where they game, right? And they added it. That right there falsifies your claim. We have a handful of people in our community that didn't come from Xbox. They added it to their suite of options and they PC game. So there you go. There's already people that didn't do it, and that falsifies your claim. They can't all come from Xbox because we got people that didn't. I'm one of the millions of people that didn't buy a PS4 and I bought a PS5, so that falsifies it. Another one. If you did a poll of all the people who are new to PlayStation and you asked, did you come from Xbox? It would not be 100%. It would be a percentage, but it wouldn't be all. Some are new. Some came from PC. Some have been out of PlayStation for a very, very long time. Some are maybe adding it and they're Nintendo guys. I don't know. But to act like they're all from Xbox, I think is absolutely absurd. And that means the console market's growing. There are people that we know who bought Switch 2s who didn't have a Switch 1, demonstrating since the Switch 2 is breaking Switch 1 records, console market's growing. See, here's the thing. And this is what's so wrong about this. You're holding on to PR speak. It's not a fact. It's not a data point. It's not been demonstrated reasonably, factually, logically. It's PR speak from Phil, and you're clutching it white-knuckled. It's got to be true. It has to be true. The market's not growing because they're leaving the market. No. I have not been compelled by anything we've looked at that the console market is stagnant or dying. And PS5's sales and New Year's acquisition and the Switch 2 sales prove it. They prove it. There are people that had PS4s who now have families and no longer game. I have several families with demanding jobs that are no longer gaming. They don't have the time. That's anecdotal. We have actual facts. We have sales reports. We have factual numbers that demonstrate that the console market is going up. Grab the camera for the Lamar Jackson edit? No. So with that logic, as these consoles keep going up in price, you think consoles will keep going when they're 100, 1500 ETC? I don't think you could demonstrate that that's going to happen automatically, Windsor. We don't know how high the prices of the next gen will be. We'll have to wait until we get there. I came from the PS2 because I had a PS3 for 3 days because all my friends were on Xbox. I didn't buy a PlayStation until PS3, fell in love with PlayStation with the PS4. I feel the PS5 is perfect, or darn near perfect, only lacking a disc-based backwards compatibility. PS5 console growth in Asia specifically is huge. Primal Queef sounds like a rock band. It does. This is just dangling here, boys. 2 5 bombs takes it, steals it. 1 10 bomb steals it. No one? Come on. Team Purple, Team Red, let's go. What did Phil say? I was interacting with the notion that the console market's stagnant and not growing. And I think that both Nintendo Switch 2 sales and PS5's current reports completely falsifies that claim. And people are just holding on to it with fervor because Phil said it. It's not been demonstrated by market analysis. It's not been demonstrated by any sales reports. No one looks at Switch 2 sales reports or PlayStation's recent earnings reports and it's like, yep, look at that. There you go. Market's dead, stagnant, and dying. Nobody's doing that because you would look like an idiot if you did that. You could conclude the opposite. You'd be like, oh, MAU's going up. New user acquisition's going up. Oh, Switch 2's breaking sales records and it's getting people to buy the Switch 2 that didn't buy the Switch 1. Sounds to me like the console market isn't stagnant. Sounds to me like the guy that said just 4 games is pulling a looky-loo on you. It sounds to me like the guy who did a total shell game when we heard a CFO saying that first-party games were going to go to PlayStation and Nintendo, and Phil said, we have no plans to put Game Pass on PlayStation and Nintendo. That's who you're trusting. That guy, the just 4 games guy. The guy who blamed Larian for Baldur's Gate 3 coming to Series S late. You're trusting him when he says the market and the console market's not growing. That's the guy you're trusting. Just 4 games We have no plans to put Game Pass on PlayStation and Nintendo. Oh, and by the way, the console market is stagnant and not growing, and that's why we're leaving it. Why are you running PR for this guy? Why are you a marketing mouthpiece for this guy? Why are you trusting him? This guy drug an entire generation along for the last 5 years, and they're still just drinking from whatever he spits out. It doesn't make any sense. Why would Phil lie? Why wouldn't he is a better question. I don't get it. This guy should be a preacher. His following, man, they are loyal. I don't get it at all. I don't get it. The confidence in the future and the wait until. It's just like, good night. This is why I've said I have way more respect for the people that are angry and saying I'm out. I prefer the term misleading truths. When I saw a Phil Spencer hype video trailer, I knew Xbox fans were cooked. Lono, Phil is the light of the world. It's the only explanation at this stage. It is. It totally is. The Nintendo Switch 2 has already outsold lifetime sales of Series X and S and PS5 Digital Edition. Oh, in Japan. In Japan. There's a business if you think that Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft care at all about you. They don't. That's why I don't care about $1 million business. I'm the consumer. I don't own stock in the business, so I don't care how much they make. If you think Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft, says the crying wolf. Wait, why are you saying said the crying wolf? I don't understand. It's true they serve me, not the other way around. Yeah, I don't understand. What's he saying that's so problematic? Like, he's not wrong. You're not here for them. They're here for you. I mean, unless you... unless you basically do their marketing for them. What is this PlayStation fanboy nonsense? Do you have something specific that you think is PlayStation fanboy nonsense? Do you want to outline what's been said that you feel like falls into that category? Guys, we have 300 likes. Nice job. We are working on a really big goal. And time is not quickly fading. We've got a lot of time still, right? We got a lot of time. So-and-so is going to have fun with this video. Great. You can hang out with him and not hang out here. He cares a lot. I can't wait for the intellectual breakdown of, the intellectual and logical breakdown of everything I said. I'm sure it'll be a master class in logical, reasonable, argumentation. Your whole persona is PlayStation and you push Sony propaganda. Do you have examples of that? I said that PlayStation was stupid when they required PSN for Helldivers 2. Was that propaganda? When I said their showcase was weak, was that propaganda? When I was critical of their state of play, was that propaganda? I mean, you're saying my whole persona is PlayStation. Your name is Xbox for the win, so... Yikes. Guy takes his entire persona from a brand and then says, I'm doing that. I'm like, what are you talking about? I've seen all your clips on X. Oh, okay. So why don't you tell me something that I've said or ask me? Just do it. Let's do an experiment here. Do it. Like, say one thing that you feel like that I've said, like you've seen the clips or whatever on Twitter that you probably didn't watch. What? Tell me one thing that I said. Oh, you made your account 3 weeks ago. Oh, wow. Whew. Did you not get enough clips today? Why are you falling for bait? I'm not falling for bait. Yeah? I'm not falling for bait. I play with my food, brother. Like, it must be, I don't know. The ad revenue must not be good enough right now. Ad revenue must have taken a bit of a dip. To be like, I'm going to come in on an alt that's 3 weeks old. No one's falling for it. We know exactly what he's doing. We're literally mocking the guy who's like, have you ever been to those, you ever seen those skits where like somebody's wearing like a mask and everybody knows who it is? Like, that's literally what that guy just did. He came in and we're all like, oh, wow. Well, yeah. You're not in here on an alt. Like, we don't know who it is. I'm not claiming that we know who it is, but it's clearly somebody who's, looking for clips. There's not just one person that does it. So it's one of them, coming in on a 3-week-old account, Oh, your personas are this. Oh, okay. Oh, can you demonstrate when I said that? Oh, I've seen all the clips on Twitter. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Whatever will I do? I could be wrong. Seriously, I could. But didn't you and many others predict that the series consoles would be the last to come out, backed by the idea of Play Anywhere, even on your TV, and now they're coming out with another console? No, I said they would exit hardware, and this is their exit strategy. They're not going to make hardware anymore. I think they're going to have other people make it for them. Yeah. I think they've lost so severely that they're quite literally doing what we said. They're doing software strategy. So if you go back to all of my predictions, I predicted they were going to implement a software strategy after they purchased ABK. And Sarah Bond literally just said in a video that they're going to make Windows the #1 gaming platform. That sounds an awful lot like a software strategy to me. It sounds like abandoning traditional console. They're partnering with AMD. AMD literally said they're no longer going to be making like custom stuff for Xbox. They're making a suite of tech that will allow you to play backwards compat. One of the reasons they have to stress backwards compat is you'll be buying hardware that they didn't make, and you're just going to be able to play everything from the original Xbox 360 to now, and then it's also going to be a Windows operating system that can have, Steam and Epic on it. So yeah, they quite literally did what I said they were going to do. They're abandoning their traditional hardware console approach. They're taking a software approach, ecosystem publishing approach. Like, none of this was wild to predict. Couldn't that possibly mean that they put Windows on their new console? Making it a PC, basically? Like, you can call it a console. It doesn't bother me if it's simplified, streamlined, but if it is essentially a PC... and that they didn't make, by the way. That's my other. Like their handheld. Yes. I maintain that that is exactly what many of us predicted that they would do. They would abandon doing their own hardware and they would have other people do it for them. Many of us said that this would be the route that they would take. They would exit hardware. They would have OEMs. They'd have other... Sarah Bond hinted at this a while ago. None of this was hard to see coming. Sarah Bond hinted there was a team... She said something about a team and something and she said OEM and everyone was like, oh, like it was almost like, oh yeah, there they go. That's them leaving hardware. They're gonna have other people do it. We're not getting any hardware produced by Xbox next generation. I don't think so. I think that is crystal. Oh my gosh, it's crystal clear. Yeah, I think it'll be Asus. It'll be somebody else. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I said this when they canceled their own handheld. Around the time we hear they canceled their own handheld, they announced the Asus ROG Ally X. And I think those two things are connected. I think they're connected. I think it's like, oh, well, let's just have somebody else do it. Why would we do it? They literally said in the leaks about the handheld being canceled that they were going to focus on their software. And then what happens a week later? Sarah Bond walks out and basically says that's what they're focusing on. They're focusing on switching everything to basically, it'll be a Windows machine. If they do that, it's a sensible move. I have not argued once today it's a bad move. I've said it's good or bad depending on how you receive the value proposition. I've not once said it's good or bad. I'm like, this is what they're doing. Many of us predicted they were going to do this. I do not think the console loyalists were hoping that this was going to be the result. Because what's it mean? It means they have no identity as a console anymore. It's just another device that can play games. It's basically a PC. It's basically a pre-built PC that's been streamlined to plug into your television, one button to turn it on, and then you control it with a controller. Like I think that's great for some people, but I do not think the console loyalists. I was very loyal to Xbox when they did their Project Scarlet marketing. I would have never dreamed this is where they would end up. Never in a million years. They were talking about a box that was going to be able to do 120 FPS. They were talking about a box with no loading screens. This is in the summer of 2019. I was at E3 as a main stage host, and I watched that presentation, and I said, I'm going back to Xbox, because I had switched to PC for 60 frames per second. I was like, I'm going back to Xbox. And now they're going to basically turn into a window. They're going to sell Windows machines that other people have made. That's not... They can play Steam? I mean, that sounds cool, but that's basically the cessation of Xbox as we know it. That's not what we were all buying into when we bought a Series X. What? Sarah said it's first-party hardware. That sentence never left her mouth. The tweet said that. She never said that in the video, which is interesting. It sounds an awful lot to me like they're going to have other people make the hardware. Listen, if they make one more... okay, you can put that notch on your belt that I got that one wrong. I don't think they're going to. I do not think they're going to. I think they're partnering with other people to co-engineer, to make the devices. They will not make them. It'll be a partnership. I wouldn't be against having Windows on a console. I would love to be able to have a console as a PC, especially if I get access to Steam. I would love Steam in my living room. I'm not against this at all. I'm just telling you, this is a big shift. There are guys acting like this is the biggest W ever, and it's like, oh, this is going to be a threat to PlayStation 6. And I'm like, this isn't a threat to PlayStation at all. This is absolutely the exit strategy. It's like, we are not doing this anymore. We are not competing with them. We are not trying to sell more consoles than them. We are going to sell a suite of devices. I call it a cascade of access points. That's what they're going for. Because they're essentially centralizing everything around Windows. It's an ecosystem. It's like a dual approach, right? It's like ecosystem publishing. That's software. That's how they operate. That's Microsoft, baby. That's Microsoft. Ecosystem software. I would question even having that hardware relationship. No, here's why it's very important, and this is what's getting lost by some of the people conversating about this. Their relationship with AMD is centered around backwards compatibility because they have to give you a way to access all those games in your library on devices that they didn't make. Do you see? It's their exit strategy. That's why they have fixated so heavily on backwards compat. It is like the centerpiece of all of this. That's how you put the piece of the puzzle in the center and figure it out. It's like, oh, that's why they're so obsessive over backwards compat, because you can get on cloud, because they'll have cloud equipped with this AMD tech. You could buy this console or a PC with this AMD tech, and all your stuff's there. They no longer have to give you a traditional console. They don't have to do it anymore. They don't have to give you a traditional console with an emulator to run 360 games. They're going to be doing something with this AMD solution that's just going to let you play those games. I don't know about NVIDIA, Yelgler, because it seems like it's going to have to run on the AMD stuff that they're building. So you'd probably have to do it through xCloud, and then you'd be logging into an xCloud infrastructure, like a server blade that's equipped with this AMD stuff. And then you'd be able to play all those Xbox and 360 games. It would all be there. Given how dominant NVIDIA's market share, it seems like a mistake. I don't know. AMD's making moves, brother. FSR4 is really good, and it's because of their relationship with Sony and Project Amethyst. I don't think AMD is a slouch. AMD's making chunky APUs. Those are going to be in laptop too, so it's just beefy, not magical. Right. I'm just keeping it simple. They're making something that will enable you to get backwards compat wherever this something shows up. Right? That's the purpose of it. It's like, we are not making a traditional console anymore. We need to give our users the ability to get backwards compat wherever this stuff shows up. So if you use cloud, if you buy this console that I don't think Xbox is going to make, there you go. You have backwards compat baked in. I mean, Jez Corden reported on this. He said they're doing something with the silicon to give you the ability to play native on the device. It seems that there's credence to that, given the way that AMD and Sarah Bond have spoken about all this. So, it's an exit strategy. They can't just come out and be like, yeah, we're not making consoles anymore. Move to PC. Your games aren't there. If NVIDIA made the chips for a console, it would be ARM-based. The graphics might be better, but every game needs to be written for ARM. If it's third-party, it's going to be insanely expensive. Seems like people won't be happy about having to pay a premium for the next Xbox just to access their backwards catalog. You make an excellent point that has been made a couple of times today, and I don't disagree with you. I don't think this is going to be disruptive at all. I don't think this is going to be disruptive at all. Hilly, what time are you available? Is it in 2 hours or an hour? Is it in 2 and 15 or an hour and 15? If Steam's accessible, the price is justified. I'm not arguing whether or not the price is justified. I'm arguing demand. Hour and 15? Okay. That's basically how long you guys have. That's how long you guys have to hit this huge, huge goal for the week. The big goal for the week is 1,000. You're within reach. You are definitely within reach. But I need a quick break. So I am going to hit some ads on both platforms, and I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. You guys are going to have to do a little bit of a scramble. You got an hour and 15. Hilly and I are going to play rematch with the members for the members. Okay? And then if you guys manage to hit the 1,000 on the week, I'm going to be doing a stream where I set up the new PC. And then I'm also going to be doing a stream this evening. I'm streaming this evening no matter what. But we'll do the album listen party, okay? I'll be right back. Thanks so much for all the great discussions. And thanks for the people disagreeing with me, keeping it respectful. Like, this is literally what I love doing. That's why I was, like, anxious to have somebody to disagree with, because it was like, there's got to be some people that see this differently than me. But this has been fun. Thank you for keeping it respectful. Hopefully you get a membership or decide to support directly on your own. That's how I do what I do. I am completely fan-funded. So, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Is everyone still here? Why they made an early announcement that the next gen they're working with AMD, unless I'm wrong? My understanding is that Microsoft already worked with AMD. Yeah, I think that's a really important distinction to SDO. They've announced this so early. And they've announced this so early, and it's the initiation of something new. It's not just like a continuance of what they've always done. And that's why when you see words used like they're not going to be doing custom chips, open ecosystem, and Windows being the number one gaming platform, it's like, oh, they're really signaling more again. Who is Sony working with PSSR? Okay, so PSSR is their own thing that they've done, made, and branded, but it informed FSR4 because of the Project Amethyst relationship and deal with AMD. So that's going to be sort of like a tennis match of the way that this thing learned and operated informed how this thing's going to operate, and then more than likely it's going to like kick it back, and I think PSSR is going to slowly improve from what they've said, and they'll be making updates, and it will likely be in direct relationship with that. It's like, oh, well, PSSR can improve and FSR4 can both improve because of this sort of like mutually beneficial relationship that they have with AMD through Project Amethyst. And what this will do is, I've described it as building cartilage between the gens, because we're going to walk into PlayStation 6 gen, and PlayStation 6 is just going to have all this stuff baked in. So PSSR will be on the PlayStation 6. It's just going to be on it. So all of the developers right now that are learning how to interact with PSSR, they're already going to be familiar with it, and they'll be able to do, I would imagine, marginal work to leverage it on the 6 for cross-gen titles. So it's a good relationship. I think it's gonna benefit. And I think what Xbox is doing with AMD will also benefit the consumer, because you're going to be able to get a level of backwards compatibility that we've never seen before. I think that's really cool. I don't think it's tectonic or disruptive. It's cool, but I don't think it's going to move the needle, and then suddenly, like the guys arguing that like, well, this makes the PlayStation 6 not needed or whatever. It's like, I just don't see it that way. I mean, you're welcome to see it that way. I think they're going to look just as silly as the people who said the Series S is going to run circles around the PS5. I think that's how silly it sounds. It sounds as silly as that. I'm being nice. It sounds stupid. Like, I'm being honest, it sounds stupid. It's like, the Series S is going to run circles around the PS5. And how'd that work out? Well, the Xbox is going to have a console that can run Steam. It's going to basically have Windows on it, and that makes the PlayStation 6 invalid. Sure, Jan. Whatever you got to say to feel like you're getting a W, because you didn't get any of this gen. So it's like, you got to pack it up. I mean, yeah. The Series X was their pro console. PS5 is doomed. And you also have to remember, listen, will Jan ever show up on stream? No. You have to remember something. The CFO said that Nintendo and PlayStation were formerly considered competitors. I think that was never focused on enough. Remember? When the CFO said that, and like the pro bleed green guys were all running damage control and saying that guys like me didn't understand context. I always find that especially fun. I don't understand context. Yes. Oh. Anyways. I think the thing that really got lost in that debate was when he said that PlayStation and Nintendo were formerly considered competitors. So even if even if those guys were right, which they weren't, they were embarrassingly wrong. Even if he was only talking about ABK, that was still a ham-dinger of a sentence. That PlayStation and Nintendo are no longer considered competitors. That just got lost in that debate. Nobody fixated and talked about that. It's like, that was a significant statement from the CFO. And you've got to remember that right now. You have to remember that. Don't let that leave the frame, because when somebody sits on their podcast, their YouTube channel, or their Twitter feed and they say, this is a threat to Sony, oh, this is going to invalidate the PlayStation 6, you are talking utter nonsense, because they are no longer considered a competitor. Xbox has no interest in trying to upset what PlayStation's doing or try to take from PlayStation. Do you know what Microsoft really hopes for? They hope PlayStation continues to be very successful and sell lots of consoles. Do you want to know why? It's one of their biggest consumer bases. So you're talking nonsense when you're like, yeah, this is a threat to the PlayStation 6. This is going to win. Xbox doesn't want that. They would never want that. That's one of their biggest, landscapes to sell their property on. Xbox strategies relying on PlayStation. That's what I mean. You're talking nonsense, dude. You're talking nonsense. It's like the CFO is like, they're no longer competitors. You're arguing for something that Xbox isn't even trying to do. Like, oh yeah, this is going to upset, this is going to upset the ponies, and this is going to make the PlayStation 6 irrelevant. That's not a good scenario, by the way, for Xbox. If PlayStation doesn't do well, they make a ton of money off of PlayStation. I was just getting ready to go there, Cisco, something Trojan horse. Let's just take that argument for a second. Let's just take it. Haven't we been hearing all this year that, it's a Trojan horse? And, PlayStation players are suckers, and look at all this money Xbox is making on PlayStation. Okay, let's grant that point. You're also arguing that Xbox wants to upset that? That don't make no sense. You're not making any sense. You're arguing that, oh, this has been so great, Trojan horse, whatever. They're making so much money on PlayStation, but then you're also going to come around behind yourself and say, and they're actively going to try to damage that and disrupt that with a piece of hardware in 2 years that will have Steam on it. If PlayStation went bust, 99% of the player base wouldn't jump to Xbox. They would leap to Steam. I mean, they would jump to this Xbox unit if it was being billed and talked about as if it was some sort of a console hybrid, because they would get Steam as well as something that they felt is familiar. So, okay, we are officially in the 1 hour countdown to when we pivot to a member stream with Hilly. So you guys have an hour. You have 1 hour to get 110 members. This has just been dangling here. Whoever hits it gets it. I owe 5 members, whether it's Team Purple or Team Red. Singles could get you there. 5s could get you there. A 10 could steal it. If we don't get the 1,000, I'm still streaming tonight. We're still going to have fun tonight. We won't do the album, and I won't do the PC stream. That's what we're doing. We're doing extra content for the incentives. That's what we do here. If you've never been here before, the goals are not just there to be goals. They're there to celebrate. And when we hit them, we do extra content. I stream outside of my normal schedule, or I'll do extra stuff. Either streams with my wife, sometimes like a stream on like a Saturday or something like that. So those are the week's goals. You guys have unlocked Friday night, dating everything. I think we could maybe do some rematch tonight as long as the servers aren't terrible. Also, we could. I have to do date everything tonight, I believe, as well. We'll christen the new gaming PC with date everything or whatever it's called. What a triumph that will be. People go where the games are, plain and simple. Are we going to see Microsoft pursuing PC exclusives to keep games on their box but off of Sony's? Obviously, I'm kidding, but it would be quite the scene. I mean, Matt Booty said, that Indiana Jones coming, later to PlayStation was as much a production issue as anything. I could see a game hitting PC first if they felt that, whoever the developer was, their engine, their pipeline, their processes, they could feel that, that's better for maybe the game showing up on time or something. It's definitely going to be a bit of a task to be developing games for this cascade of hardware efforts, in addition to PlayStation 5 and Pro enhancements, if they want to ship on Nintendo Switch 2. That's actually one of the things I've been the most curious about, Zubair, is in 3 to 4 years, once some of these games start making landfall that are basically like day and date everywhere, what's that going to look like? Because historically speaking, I don't think there are a lot of developers that are accustomed to okay, so we have to develop for a litany of PC configurations. Xbox is going to have some type of a console thing that we don't know what it is yet. Maybe handhelds. More than the ROG Ally. And then the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 Pro, and then the Switch 2. That's a broad spectrum of hardware to develop for. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of developers that are set up to do that right now. How many game devs are developing for that many systems at once? I don't think it's very common. Devs were doing Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, maybe Switch. Now it's just PlayStation and PC, maybe Switch. It's actually easier. But hang on, you're leaving out Series S and X, Zuby, so we would have to get outside of their... that's only true once we leave those two behind. You could be right that once Series S and X are no longer supported, we enter a time where maybe it is easier for those devs because they're mainly focusing on the cascade of PC that includes whatever Xbox has. You're talking next gen. So then the question would be, when do Series X and S get left behind? Because we're still in the back half. There's a lot of games that are still coming that I believe Xbox is going to be heavily motivated to having them land on both PlayStation and the Switch 2. Once the new Xbox, you think they'll drop Series S and X that fast? 3 years? So you think in 2028? Yeah, that's a part of the discussion we didn't even really consider in all of this. They might have a vested interest in if they have back compat, why not? That's a good point. I mean, that would be a very, very excuse me, that'd be a very different transition. Instead of it being like a slow process, it would you guys are talking like it'd be like a meat cleaver coming down, just kaboom, it's over. You know, we're done with those systems. That would be wow. Not enough coffee left to stay warm. Just a teeny bit. That was not good. The issue with modern game development isn't just the number of platforms, but rather shorter development cycles for bigger and more complex games. Right, you've got to get to the point where people accept longer dev cycles. We've seen this. I've seen this and been a little bit frustrated by this commentary within the PlayStation first party studio conversation, where like it was 2023 and 2024, and people were like, where's Naughty Dog's next game? And I'm like, 3 or 4 years ago, they delivered the game of the year. What do you mean? It hasn't even been that long, right? Like, you have to start to allow, not everybody can do what Insomniac did. Like, their cadence of delivery was ridiculous. Like, you've got to allow these studios 5-6 years minimum, I think. From the like, unless it's a sequel, I think the sequel shrinks the window. But if it's a brand new IP, you got to give them 5 or 6 years. The only way to fix that and to recalibrate so they actually can get back down to the 4 or 5 year window is you got to do smaller games, which I have said a lot of AAA studios might start doing. They might start doing AA sized games at AAA quality, so the budget's smaller, it can come to market quicker, it's less risky. Like I think that's a more risk averse approach, like making everything take forever and the budget just keeps mushrooming, and then you need the game to be insanely successful. I could see AAA studios pivoting away from that and then maybe getting back to turnaround time on games being 4 to 5 instead of 5 to 6, sometimes 7 years. They could drop the X and the S easily. They could just stream via the cloud. Yeah, Insomniac was working with tons of already completed assets. Right, that's why their cadence was crazy. They were working within sequel. The sequel paradigm speeds things up. And even still, the budget got pretty big. Even Insomniac had to slow down. Right, like, because what they're doing next will be new IP. Wolverine will be a new IP. If the X-Men game's still coming, that's a new IP. Split studio development, 2 sister studios releasing alternating cadence every 4 years. That pyramid scheme, that's what I've been saying. I think some of these studios need to consider doing smaller games. Split, yeah, exactly. The budget's smaller. It's going to be a more agile project. You got less people working on it. Reusing assets, despicable. What's good, Feed? All right, Feed's in the chat, y'all. You have 54 minutes and counting. If they're doing what we think they're doing, we need to stop thinking in console terms. Start thinking in PC terms. Everything is a slow march, not a sudden jump. Have you seen the sales of the Series S and the X? I would imagine they look at that like stopping the bleeding. Oh, right, just chopping it off. Right, Creature. I've never cared about things like ray tracing. If a game looks good, I don't care how that happened. Yeah, but if you look at the side-by-side comparisons of AC Shadows when you get to turn on global illumination, I think that alone shows why lighting is so important. Isn't that what PlayStation was trying to do with the whole 3 to 4 teams on under one studio? Where were they doing this? What studio was doing that? Ray tracing in general has been a marketing term, but at the high end, it's transformative. That I don't need super reflective surfaces. I know that path tracing is so great, according to Zubair. I think in general, a lot of companies should be prioritizing global illumination first because of the results that it yields. Like if you play AC Shadows, I think you'll see what I mean. You don't need everything to be reflective. If the world itself has this living feeling because of the light, everything just, everything pops. Global illumination is ray tracing. I know that's what I'm saying, Eugene, is that if you're going to focus on putting ray tracing in your game, I think that's top priority. I think that's top priority because it seems to yield big results and it doesn't seem as costly. Like the reflective surfaces seems way more costly, and I don't think those yield as good of results as global illumination. Like the reflective surfaces tipped the game over and made it struggle to run at 60. but just GI was enough. It's expensive in terms of resources. I could be speaking out of turn, but when I looked at AC Shadows and I saw GI turned on and then GI with reflective surfaces, I was like, I don't think the reflections are worth it. They're not as nearly as important as shadows. That's what I mean. Like the shadows and the light hitting things just gives it, the color is different. The world feels different. I swear PlayStation was hiring like mad and have multiple teams under one studio so they can make multiple games at once. So they could have a continuous flow of games, unless I'm wrong. Does anybody know what he's referring to? Was that happening at one of the studios? Was that Insomniac? What you're saying is something's firing in my brain. Like there was something like that. Maybe that was the Insomniac thing. I don't know. Oh gosh, I gotta mute this conversation. Good golly. Every once in a while I'll go to my noties and like 2 people are just going back and forth and I've got like 8 comments from one person. Doc Dark's asking about Lost Soul Aside. Shuhei Yoshida explained this. It's a China Hero Project game, and PC is huge in China, and console is almost non-existent. This is PlayStation's strat to growing in China. Publishing Chinese studio games on PC and PS5 day and date. Yeah. Yeah, Lost Soul Aside is not owned. It's not PlayStation doesn't own the property. PlayStation doesn't own the studio. They're publishing the game in China, and that's how they're trying to grow in the Chinese market. Shuhei Yoshida explained that like console is basically non-existent in China, and now it can be, and so I think they're being very smart about this. They're like, okay, well let's partner with a Chinese developer, publish a game there, and hit both platforms. So yeah, all the China Hero games are going to be PC day and date. They are not first-party studios, and they don't own the property. It's a publishing effort in that particular market to grow. And Shuhei Yoshida explained it. Lona, you say you never call names, but earlier you called someone deranged and a weirdo while talking about Night Rain. Yeah? If the shoe fits, those are descriptors. Don't be a deranged weirdo. People have Lono derangement syndrome. And a 10 bomb comes in from Gambit Zero. There it is. That sat there for the longest. I could not believe. I thought Purple was going to snake it. All right, you guys are on the runway. You are on the runway. This is the big goal of the week that we've been working towards. This is the big one. This is for the PC stream. This is for the album listen. All of it. Like, when I say I don't call people names, okay, you have to understand in context what I'm saying. I don't pull up someone's content and say, look at this idiot. Look at this like they call me a retard. I don't do that. Thank you so much for the Agents of Chaos Catwalk taking us to 901. I don't make that my content. Here's the other thing that's interesting about this. Your account's 11 days old, so we know what you're doing. But I'll entertain the question. What I find the most interesting in all of my years in content creation is people that will attack you days on days, weeks on weeks, years on years. And when you call it what it is, it's deranged, it's hateful, it's toxic, you call them losers, you're the bad guy. That, I think, demonstrates how incredibly low you are as a human. You're a lowlife. You attack someone, manipulate them, frustrate them, they clap back, and then you try to paint them as the bad guy. You're just a gaslighting loser. That's all you are. You're a gaslighting loser. That's not a name. I'm not calling you a name. I'm describing your existence. Like, disagreeing with my position and calling me retard gaming, that you're just name calling. Right? Calling me an idiot, calling me this, calling me that, that's just name calling. I'm describing their existence. They're salt farming lowlifes. They're parasites. They crutch on the content of others. Like, they're worthy of the descriptor. They wear it with pride. I just say things that they don't like. I don't draw first blood. I don't go out and attack people. I don't react to people in my content and mock them and call them names. And then my audience would obviously then go do the same thing and call them names in their comments. I don't do that. I simply describe losers as losers. Fools as fools. It's what they are. They're court jesters. That's what they are. They're buffoons. Do you see the difference? It's like, you draw first blood and attack me and say all this stuff, put me on your content, and then I'm going to describe you as what you are. It's like the people that are out here grifting and lying. What am I supposed to call them? My fellow YouTubers who use misleading thumbnails and lie to their audiences. My fellow YouTubers. No, they're grifting liars. Like, what do you want me to do? As they're entertaining instead of, at least they're entertaining instead of the same BS arguing with Chad all day and disingenuous arguments. Wait, I'm confused, Nate Dogg. Why are you here then? A $5 super chat from Street Shadow says, with the hero projects also, Sony supplies funding like free dev kits, marketing, publishing for exclusivity, going after new markets. Yeah, it's a mutually beneficial arrangement. Like, Nate Dogg, you've got a badge. I mean, are you actively paying for a membership in a channel that you don't find entertaining, or are you just riding on a gifted? Like, why are you here? I don't understand. I don't spend a minute of my day watching content that I don't like. I don't. That's insane. You have to reflect on what you're doing. Really think about that. What's the point? Nobody else is on? Well, I'm going to do you a favor as well as all of us. I don't want you to continue to get gifted members. You're just another hate watcher. The fact that you don't have anything else in your life right now to do, not a game to play, not a book to read, not an album to listen to, not a sunshine to look at, you're going to hang out on my stream and you don't like me? Brother. That's pathetic. Like, come on. There's nothing else. I'm serious, man. Y'all need to examine what you're doing. It's bad. Like, it's bad for you. It's bad for your mind. It's bad for your health. You know what I mean? You got to break the cycle. I'm not worth it. I'm not worth it. I'm just a YouTuber, my man. If my choices were making myself angry or sitting quietly in a room by myself doing nothing, it would be an easy decision. Whew. Also, you're the only streamer compared to everyone that criticizes you? What do you mean? Also, they don't... Well, I mean, one of them streams like once a week, right? Maybe he needs this. Listen, if hanging out in my stream, hate watching, is keeping you from the edge, then I mean this from my heart, man. You got to get therapy. That's not healthy, bro. If you're hanging on, if the only thing that's giving you like a beam of light in the day is hate watching me, homie, get the phone and get therapy today. You're not in a good place. I mean that. I've been seeing the same therapist for 7 years. Like, you got to get your mind right, brother. Good night. Weirdos hanging out in places they hate. Don't call out the loneliness epidemic. Yeah, golly goodness. The amount of hate I got for that Resident Evil tweet. Good Lord. I mean, that is... some of y'all are in a low place. Man, you are low. You got to get yourself right. Golly. Yo, my man Denver with 5 months says, final stretch to 1,000, boys. He says, let's get it. That counts. Renewals count. Thank you so much. There it is. Come on, Purple. You're 100 behind. You know, somebody can do it. I find that Reforge Roast helps me when I'm low. Dear. Whew. Street Shadow says, Nate Dogg's out here besmirching the name of a legendary rapper and singer. Please go somewhere that makes you happy. I do like when they speak up, though. I don't like people's money and generosity going to somebody like that. Get them out of the server. You know? Doc Dark says, damn it, Lono, this is not for you. This is for the fanboys. And here you go giving real sensible answers. Delete it. I refuse. Absolutely not, Doc. Hey, Mile High with a VIP. Hey, boys, it's my birthday. Don't we shower some gifteds for that? 100K. Wait, you put 1,000K. Can we get 1,000, 1,000? Yo, thank you so much. Mile High. Mile High wants way more than I do for his birthday. He's going to take us to 13. He does a 10 bomb on his birthday, and he's asking for members. He says, boys, come on. He says, isn't this what we do? This is what we do. Do a panel with me and Doc and 30 at some point. Kirk, I don't want to do that to you. I would not do that to you, brother. I would not put you on one of my streams. I'll round out the birthday celebration with a coffee order if you give me a moment. Well, thank you, Mile High. That is very kind of you. It is very, very kind of you. Coffee orders have picked up a teeny bit. They picked up a teeny bit. Refilling your water during the screaming match. Yeah, Doc's like, don't you leave. He's like, don't you leave, Lono. The loneliness epidemic is very real, but it's very self-inflicted. I think that's a little too reductionist. I don't think it's completely self-inflicted. I think it's perpetuated in a self-inflicted way. You know what hasn't picked up? The Postal Service. Oh man, Eugene. I think I sent yours. I think yours was sent the next day. Do you still not have it? I printed yours night of, and I think Madam shipped it next day. There was a time there where I wasn't doing the best job. I was a little slow, but I've been quicker, and I don't... We struggling? like I said, I've been trying to be faster about it. There was a time there when the orders weren't coming in, I would forget. Like one person would order, and like a week later, I'd be like, "Oh shoot, I forgot to print that one order." It's picked up, so I've been printing them night of or next day, and then it's getting shipped to you within 24 to 48 hours of the order, and it should be there again. Oh, it's out today? Okay. I was going to say, I tried to be faster. When I see certain names come through, like Eugene, Kale, Zuby, I try to jump on it because I know you guys, not only have you been faithful, like you order it literally when you're about to run out. You're not like trying it for the first time. If somebody's trying it for the first time, I definitely want to get it to them quickly, but I know they're not like dependent on it. I'm not like, oh gosh, we better get it out. Like I know some of you are like literally ordering it when you need it. So, and a single, I know what Stone Spire's doing. He is setting up a 10 bomb. He is it. Listen, I'll tell you what, on the fly gauntlet, if someone does a 10 bomb, I'm going to match it. This guy is always baiting these 10 bombs, and he's not been getting them lately. So I'm going to throw down with him. I'm going to say, okay, anybody does the 10 bomb, whatever platform does it first, I am going to tag team with that person. So it's there. There it is, 9:15. There's the other one. It's dangling in the air right now. It's dangling. Pause. If a 10 bomb comes in, I'm matching it, whichever platform does it. I think I owe YouTube 10 already. Day drinking? What time y'all been drinking? I'd love to. My wife would kill me. I've done that a few times with Hilly. I don't think I'll be able to do it today because I've got to do we're probably, well, I don't know. If we hit the PC goal, I don't want to be doing that. There it is. Alex does it. Hey, he took the bait. He took the bait. Look, if Paris got one. Paris, are you in the chat? I can't click to do a 10. Why is it not letting me? And Wired Rope gifts a 5. 15, just like that, comes pouring in. And that actually sets up a 20 bomb. That actually sets up a 20 bomb. Did it not count my 10? It counted. It's not letting me click to do my 10. You did 10. Wire did 15. That takes us to 38. That takes us to 930. We're now 20 away from 950. Okay, now I can do it. You guys were covering up the thing at the top. I couldn't do it. Okay, I'm going to do a 10. I'm going to do a 10 on Purple, and then I'm going to do a 10 on YouTube. I'm pretty sure I owe 10 to YouTube. I just haven't paid up on YouTube. Okay. And for whatever reason, it does them one at a time. I don't know why. Gotta let Purple get a small W every now and then. They try. You think you're on a delay? You might be delayed. You might want to refresh. I don't know why it does that. When I do a 10 bomb, it literally pops out as if I did 10 singles in a row. And there's the 10 bomb alert. It's so stupid. It's broken. A lot of you guys would have been average dudes with average jobs that married average women in the past. But in the past, you've been told that you're not enough. The expectations are sky high due to social media. That's probably one element of it, for sure. Yeah. I don't think that's all, but that's certainly part of it. Hey, 2 orders of coffee. Mile High does 2 bags dark. Siriu does a best of both worlds. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see, boys. We got to get that coffee moving again. I've been hesitant to restock it. It slowed down so much. I'm like, that's a lot of capital to restock that. Sitting in my basement. People also spend more time on social media than being social. I don't want you drinking today. Can you just imagine the football coach and you coming out and shouting at me for not enough hustle on the ball or short passes, not finding their teammates? I'm gonna coach the frick out of you, Hilly. We're gonna have to do quick matches. I don't have I've not played at all on Xbox, so I'm not gonna have any rank. We'll just do 3v3 quick matches. We should find somebody to come with us, because we won't be getting skill based. You know, let's see if we can find a good player in the community to come with us. I think Benevolent Icon's playing. You only have one game? Okay. People just need a nice walk through nature. It's good for the soul. Oh, that's we do that every night once the weather gets nice. We do that every night. We take a walk. I love it. We want him drinking. So my question is short. If Sony wants WB Gaming, do they need to make a rule that if they buy it, they get the Nemesis system? Yeah, we want the Nemesis system to come out of retirement, don't we? I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I know the gaming community at large disagrees with me and liked it. And so I want it in the wild for you guys. I didn't like it that much. But yeah. You definitely want that as part of the deal. Whoever ends up with WB, we want the Nemesis system in the deal. You love Shadow of War? When I played the sequel and when I played the first one, I just found it to be a nuisance. It was annoying. It was a very flat tire thing. I would kill a guy, and then I'd be off doing something, and I'd start fighting another guy. And then all of a sudden, there would be a cutscene, and I would get interrupted. And he'd be like, "You did this to my face." And he'd have like a scar across his face. "I'm going to gut you for it." And you're like, what the frick? So it's like, I didn't like it. It just created this flat tire. It was like, leave me the frick alone. I killed you, but you're back? What? Go away. I didn't like it. That was the best part. That was the worst part. Listen. I know that people disagree with me on this. I get it. You guys liked it. I didn't like it. I'm not calling it bad. I'm like, bro, I did not like that. That was different gamer mentality, Lono. I wonder how you feel today. It was insanely close. Did you voice act in that game and didn't tell us? No. I've gotten decent at doing voices over the years. I read books to my kids, and I do voices. So I have to do, different vocal fry, gravel, accents, I did that. I started doing that for them when we read through the Narnia books, and then Green Ember, and then all the Redwall books, and then the Dark Sea of Darkness. What are those? The Wingfeather books, and now Harry Potter. You did this to my face. Bro, how old is your account? 10 days? Go away. One game, only 5 minutes, but what a 5 minutes it was. You got a goal. Nice. You guys have 28 minutes. Mile High asked for members for his birthday. You guys are letting this man down. What was your Snape voice? I wasn't going to try to do Rickman. His voice is too iconic. I just did like a very sharp, biting voice. I can't even do it right now. I've got to be reading the books. I've got to kind of get into character. It's not easy. Like, once I'm reading the books and I'm kind of like, I'm sort of immersing myself into the story, it's really easy for me to bounce from like Harry's voice to Hermione to Ron to, I'm trying to think of some of the other characters that I try to give like very staccato cadence. Yeah, it's very, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa. Wingardium Leviosa. The video game helps me with some of the pronunciations, yes. Hello, Hemora. It's like, I would not have known how to say that. Hermione too? Yeah, I do the women's voices. Obviously, if I were to go into professional voice acting, you would be able to tell it was a guy doing a girl's voice. I can't transform my voice that much, but I can do it. You didn't like Wheel of Time? I stalled out in Wheel of Time, book 11 or 12 or something like that. I've also stalled out in the Stormlight archives because now in the evenings when I'm in bed, instead of reading, I'm like writing lyrics. Is it slander to say I love turn-based games, but I don't think I'll ever be getting Expedition 33? It doesn't sound like slander. That I don't understand why you would do that. You just want a proper Narnia in your lifetime? Well, we're not going to get one. If the rumors are true, we're not going to get one. I heard that someone say that the best way to get away from monkey brain consumption is to start creating, and I think that's very wise. What voice you do for Hermione? Again, I can't do it on command. I've got to be reading the books. If I'm reading the books and I can see what they're saying and I can see the expressions that they're using, Ron talks in a particular way. Harry talks in a particular way, right? You know, Lupin and Sirius Black, you know, they have a way of speaking just in the phrases that they use and stuff. By reading the books, he means drunk. I don't read to my children drunk. I have to be in the moment. I can't just do it on command. Your favorite Narnia production is the crappy BBC ones? A lot of people prefer those ones. Random question. Do you think we see Jedi Part 3 announced at the Game Awards or nothing till next year earliest? How old's Jedi Survivor at this point? He says, let me farm ponies. No, I don't think I will. Was it 23? Yeah, it was 23. 26 would be 3 years. Can you do Doc's voice? Dummy! Like, that's it. Yeah, I don't know. That feels too fast. 3 years. I kind of hope. I hope it doesn't get announced this year because it'll be. If they announce it, it'll probably be within a year of coming out. You know what I mean? So like next year. That's just fast. That's too fast. My daughter loves the Warriors books. I got her. They had a big book set sale on Amazon, and I got my son hardcover Wing Feather for real cheap. And I got her a whole set of the Warriors books. She loves them. Yeah, I finished Survivor. Once they fixed the performance issues on console, I went back and finished it. I loved it. I thought it was a great story. I thought the combat was great. I was basically I did the heavy saber stance and blaster stance were like my two go-to stances. Percy Jackson. They've read the Percy Jackson books. They like them. I think my daughter has. They've listened to the audiobooks at least. I know that. I've never played the Warriors game, no. If you like reading not just to the kids, I highly recommend the Exodus book. It's good sci-fi. I'm stalled out. Like the creative aspect of my mind got super activated, and writing lyrics now once I'm upstairs like in my bed. I do that now instead of reading. So I'll probably get back into reading eventually. Sadly, I'll not have a clue what the frick's going on in Stormlight Archives by the time I get back to it. But yeah. Get you no shade. Yeah, I do that. I get on wavelengths like that. Like I've got like I don't even know what's the count now. 37, close to 40 songs. Like I can't stop. You know? When they get a little bit older, Red Rising trilogy's good. The Star Wars Legend books are great. Yeah, I wish I had time for more reading. I've got other books I'd like to read as well. Hilly. Chapter 50 in Stormlight right now. I had to take a break. I'm halfway through the second book, and I was enjoying it. If you put your AI voice into that thing, could it sing with your voice? Are you going to watch the Blood of the Dawnwalker showcase tomorrow? I'll catch it some point. I'm not going to do any streaming tomorrow. I've got family in town, so tomorrow's kind of fully booked. It's kind of fully booked. You guys have 20 minutes. 20. Y'all are running out of time. We are very close to the big one. Doc says, too late. It's working. Sit back and enjoy. He says, you host a wholesome show. I'm here for the clown foolery. Clown foolery. I think he meant to put tomfoolery. Doc, whatever. Is Lost Soul Aside really dropping on PC day and date? Yeah. All the China Hero Project games are going to be day and date on PC. Yeah, Shuhei Yoshida explained that in an interview, and I think it was even explained. It might have been explained somewhere by Herman Holst, maybe? I can't remember. I've gone pretty hard this year with reading. I'm at 25 books so far, and I'm doing the Cosmere. I think I'm hitting some reading fatigue. I highly recommend Red Rising and the Mistborn series. China Hero. Right. So basically, console is non-existent in the Chinese market. And so they're going day and date because this is what they did. They basically partnered with Chinese developers who would obviously be building their game for PC. They partnered with them to publish and give them dev kits and marketing dollars to basically say, hey, we'll help bring your game to market. We want it to be a part of this China Hero project, and we also want it to be on our PlayStation. So what they're going to do, maybe, is they're going to hope to then potentially do a sequel that maybe is a timed exclusive. I don't know. Because if you get somebody to really enjoy Lost Soul Aside, and then in 3 years you go back to the Chinese market and you say, here's Lost Soul Aside 2, and it's only on PlayStation for 6 months or a year or something, well, you might get some conversion. Breaking into that market's going to be very difficult, but, that's their goal. Yeah, reading before bed, I sleep better as well. Yeah, get off the screen. That's one of the best things I ever did was I stopped looking at my screen, on the hour runway to bed. Lona has so many videos of exposure. I think AI could mimic him easily. You can upload audio now to that AI app. I don't know if that's what I would want to do, though. There's something about that I think is honestly weirder than having sort of a disembodied, like, non-existent person singing instead of it being like me. I don't know. Like, I feel like there might be an element of, is cheesy the right word? If it was like, oh, that sounds like Lono singing. I don't know if I would like that. I think that'd be a bit odd. I don't picture myself as a singer. I picture myself as like a lyricist. Like, if I was in a band, writing the lyrics would be very, very fun, but I would prefer to not be the singer. Number one, because I can't. I can reasonably hold melody, but I am not a singer by any stretch of the imagination. Is it too narcissistic even for you? I think it would be, it's not Uncanny Valley, but it's like that. It would just be weird to be like, oh, those are my lyrics and it sounds like me singing. Like, I don't know. I think that would be too bizarre. Yeah. It would be too bizarre. We got 15 minutes, y'all. We're so close. If we don't hit it, it's going to be interesting. I think people are going to be pissed. I write lyrics in my band and I'm not the singer. Can confirm it's a great time. I wouldn't like you as the vocalist, TBH. Yeah, I think it works better as like this it's not me. It sounds like it sounds like a band. What are your thoughts on Firebreak? I thought it looked kind of promising, and then I played the beta, and I was like, this just plays like a fan-made mod, like a rough fan-made mod, you know? Creature says, I told you in the green room yesterday they were cooked. JC's going to poke the line. JC is going to poke the line. He's like, come on, boys. We cannot get this close and not get it. 9:31. He rounds out the battle between Team Purple and Team Red to 140. Are we ticked if we don't get the PC stream? Haseo was trying to rally the troops in the Discord yesterday. He's like, we got to be on point to get these extra streams. Lona behind the drum set seems more natural. Yeah, I would rather empower, like if I picked up the sticks again and was drumming again, I would rather empower the band to have just this wall of sound, this intense roaring, storm with the lyrics soaring with a great, vocalist. I want Lono as my Google Home voice. You don't want that. How much time is left? 5 minutes, you idiot. Angry Pete gifts a member and a VIP renewal from Po Buddies Nerfic. There we go. 33. Inching a little bit closer. Haseo says, we can do this. Mind's Eye is a copy. Tent the movie. What? They copied a movie? What movie? That's the first I'm hearing that they copied a movie. Tenet? Hey, thanks for using your Prime over here. Everything adds up, guys. Everything adds up. Those primes help on Team Purple. 934. The big goal of the week is 1,000. You guys are so stinking close. It's an extra stream with the PC. It's an album party tonight, in addition to all the other things I have to do tonight. Mind's Eye 2 has already been greenlit. I saw that. Kira, good to see you. Love your content. Thanks for using your Prime. Thank you so much for using your primes over here. Check those primes, boys. They add up. Boom. 9:35. You guys have 13 minutes. 65 members. You have 13 minutes. The clock is ticking. I warned you guys multiple times. I kept warning. I was like, you got an hour. You got 45. I didn't spring this on you. I don't want anybody to be mad at me. I'm not trying to get away with getting out of it. Hang on 1 second. What's this? Okay. Should have delivered that in the gambler's voice. The gambler. And Haseo comes in with the 5-bomb. He sets up an easy one. 10 to 950. Whichever platform makes it hit 950, I owe you members. Whoever hits it gets it. Whoever hits it gets it. Who's doing it? Siege Master does it for Team Purple. Wait, Haseo did it as well. It's a tie. No, they're 5 bombs. Oh, they're 5 bombs and not 10 bombs. Shoot. I think Twitch did 45, and then I think Haseo got it to 50. I think YouTube won that one. Siege, you came in first, and then Haseo came in second. I was going to give it to you both, but they were 5 bombs and not 10 bombs. All right, we're halfway. Look at Mind's Eye and look at Tenet, same art. I don't think I've seen anybody claim that. I might drop something. And a 5 bomb comes in from Lone Wolf. There it is. 20 away from the next milestone, a 975. And a 5 bomb comes in from Siege Master. Siege Master's playing for both teams today. He wants to help us get there, and he's helping both platforms enjoy. What was that? I believe someone dropped like something heavy on the wood floor in my bedroom. Like my with my relatives in town, my son's been sleeping in the room on an air mattress. So he's probably in there doing something. And a 5 bomb comes in from Alex. We are on a 5 bomb train all the way to the door. All the way. Siege is doing it. Alex is doing it. Lone Wolf, Haseo. It's an every man effort. We're 10 minutes from it. Wired Rope's going to do 5 more. And there's a hype train going. There is a hype train going right now on Twitch. We're 5 away from the next milestone of 975. Whoever hits that, I will owe the next 5. I do owe YouTube 5. Right now, we could get a steal. We could get a steal from Purple. I'm watching both. Benevolent Icon steals it for Twitch and gets us to the 975. I'm sorry, steals it for YouTube. Benevolent Icon sold it for YouTube. And another 5 comes in. It's a 5 bomb train from another universe. We're at 980. T-Man Grove drops a 5 bomb. And a 5 bomb from JC gets us to 985. The 5 bomb train is in full motion. Holy cow. We're 15 away. I do owe 10 to YouTube. I'm going to wait, though. I'm going to wait. Philbo Baggins says thank you. Oh, good to see you, Philbo. What do we get, 1,000? The PC stream, I'm going to set up the PC with you guys after Hilly. And a 20 bomb comes in from Pathalon Phoenix. And that's it. You've done it. You have done it. I don't have any other stretches. At this point, it's 9 minutes, okay? What we've been doing is every extra 100 was just another full song. And at this point, you're already getting an entire album. So just save them for next week, boys. Set up, you mean plug in? No, I got to set it up. I got lots of stuff to hook up to it. I got to install stuff on it. I got to get it ready for tonight. I got to make sure my brand new capture card works on it. We got work to do, boys. Yeah, save it for next week. Save it for next week. So I owe 5 to Twitch, and I owe 10 to YouTube, I believe. 1,100 is the Mind's Eye Plat. No, it is not. No, The Mind's Eye Plat is 700 member plus and above. That is a big, big, long goal, because you are not going to get me to do that. Get the frick out of here with your lies, Lone Wolf. 1,100 is the Mind's Eye Plat. 1,100, we get Madam to Mind's Eye Plat. No, Madam won't be here tonight. Madam will not be here tonight. That's why I made it music-centric. She's not a fan of sharing the music. I don't know why. It'll eventually be published. Sharing it's probably the safest environment, right? You know. Also, that would end your marriage. Just finished watching your Borderlands 4 preview, so you think it'll be worth it? I think it sounds great. I have heard nothing but good things. I'm excited about it. I am. Lies, I didn't know that. I was just pushing for it. Oh yeah, Lone Wolf. I thought you were totally joking around. Yesterday, we said at 700 member plus and above, I have to plat Mind's Eye. I have to like stream it and everything. We'll stream it for the members. So. Yeah. I thought you were joking about that. It's funny that you said that. We just decided that yesterday in Green Room. We won. They're adding the minimap. Yeah, I saw that the minimap will be in there at launch. Yeah. I did see a rather lengthy thread from Randy Pitchford kind of explaining. It was like there's a lot more verticality. There's just a lot more going on in the game. It wasn't as simple. I think people thought it was like a really simple thing. It clearly wasn't. If it was a simple thing, they would have done it. Like, I do think they focused on elements of BL4 being bigger, more open, dynamic events, verticality going up and all that. That's harder to create an efficient mini-map and compass. Like, I think that's one of the reasons why it's been like not a thing they just automatically did. So, using my portal to play Mouse PI, I think it's great. Wait, how are you playing Mouse PI? It's not out yet. What are you talking about? We don't have a release date for that yet. Are you talking about a different game? Or is there a demo? Oh, planning to. Oh, I was like, what the frick, man? I've had my eyes on that game for a long time. How'd that one slip past me? Okay, you're planning on it. Okay, got it. Save image as Xbox, the exit strategy, close. We have to save this image, save image as PC stream, and then we got to save this image. Rematch with Hilly. All right, let me schedule a stream here. Do we have something that we've recently done with Hilly that I can... No, we need to do new. We need to create new because rematch with Hilly and members. They've got new settings now, so you don't want to use old settings for your streams on YouTube anymore. Anytime they introduce new settings like that, you'll screw your stream up. It'll like pull an error. Rematch with Hilly, members only playlist. No AI. Visibility, members only, 2 o'clock. There we go. I've heard of like BioShock. It definitely looks like its own game, but all right, let me set up redirect. No more. Save all your stuff. Even if you've got renewals, save your renewals, save your primes for next week. You're not adding to anything right now. We have absolutely achieved what we set out to achieve. You guys are the best. I do need a brief break before I go to this thing with Hilly, okay? The gifting. Yeah, you did it, JC. You poked the line. You crushed it. Okay. I'll be right back. I'm going to hit ads on both platforms. You guys won't see them on purple if you're a sub. That's a great reason to be a sub. And we'll also change chat to sub only because this is a sub only segment. Eventually, these segments with Hilly and Green Room and Morning Coffee, you will not be able to watch on purple unless you are a sub. Okay? Great reason to sub. Extra content, no ads. YouTube, extra content. And you can make me plat Mind's Eye. That's a great reason to upgrade to Member Plus. All right, I'll be right back. Okay. All right, I got redirect set up. I've got to get Mr. Hilberg on the stage. Invite to speak. Unmute Discord. Hello, good sir.
Hello. Bonjour. Hang on, this game's really loud. I need to turn the music down. It's I'm getting deafened by the game.
I'm always curious. I'm always curious how you're going to come in. You know, sometimes you're like hello, and then you're like hello. It's like, oh gosh.
Oh gosh. I'm a bit loud. I need the audio to global volume. Oh,
a bit. All right.
Oh, that's better. The game is deafening me.
Let's define irony, though. We're going to be playing a PC game on my old PC before setting up my new PC. So God be with us here.
It'll be fine. And we're playing the future, remember? Because we're playing an Xbox game on a PC through an app. We're playing the future.
We are. We're in the future.
This is the future.
All right, I gotta plug in my Xbox controller. If I plug in a DualSense, I think I'll explode something. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, is Hilly loud compared to me? All right, hang on 1 second. I will fix that. All right, say something, Hilly.
Hello, how are you?
Oh yeah, you're still louder.
I'm still louder. Is this any better? Should I talk at the same volume, or should I get higher or lower?
Yeah, don't change what you're doing because you'll get into the moment.
Does that make it harder?
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
can't resist. I am drinking a Doom bar, but if I get excited, this is as loud as I get.
Okay. I've got it. I've got it better.
My wife's going to come in now and say stop shouting because my headphones are loud, and then it's going to mess up the volume.
Stop your shouting.
Stop your shouting. I'd be like, I'm playing football. Oh, if I go mute, it's just because I'm sneezing a lot, and when I sneeze, I always sneeze like 7 times with hay fever.
Yeah, I can't have that.
If I'm mid conversation, I might just mute. It's just because I'm sneezing, and chat doesn't want to hear that. They don't. Nobody wants to hear that.
After 2 sneezes, I don't say God bless you. I say get a hold of yourself. You know.
Yeah.
That's
the
enough.
problem. I had 7 in the office, and everyone was like, "Oh, shut up, would you?" I was like, "You don't say that to people with illnesses, do they?" But hay fever gets mocked. Mocked, it does.
No
you call it allergy. No respect for it. I told my boss I was going home. I'm medically ill. He's like, "No, you're not. No, you are not.
I'm ill."
I was like, if you was doing this with anything else, like, I was literally, my eyes were streaming in work. I was like, my nose was streaming. I was like, fluids coming out of my body, and I kept sneezing. I was like, any other thing, if you used any other medical term other than allergies, you get to go home. He was like, "No, just give me the data." I was like, oh. It's so hot here as well. None of us have air conditioning. Oh.
Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to put a link in chat for those of you that need the redirect.
Hilly Hijinks, that's what it is. That's right. That's correct.
Instead of Hilly Hijinks, Hilly Hijinks.
Hijinks.
Can I skip this intro? What is this? I don't remember seeing this.
Oh, you've got to do this because it's the first time you played it.
I'm just trying to get into the game so I can start the new stream.
Yeah, we don't need no Call of Duty tutorial.
There we go. All right.
You've got to add me or something.
Yeah, I'll get you 1 second. Let me start the new stream. Hey, thanks so much. If you guys are watching this later, you missed out on a fun member stream. We do these on Fridays. It's a great reason to be a member. As a reminder, if you are enjoying a gifted membership, consider upgrading to Member Plus. We have a standing incentive right now. I have to platinum Mind's Eye on my PlayStation if we get to 700 people at Member Plus and above. It's $6 instead of $5. It's well worth the upgrade. You get extra segments, and it's fun. It supports me, and it'll unlock something fun on the channel. So let me end the previous stream and bring folks over with Redirect. And that was a great stream. Thank you, everybody who